Absolutely no answer.
That was like old Syriac.
At least today's a little less.
Yeah.
Because now it's Patullo's turn. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles moving on to Minnesota. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to gear up for their matchup with the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday, a 1 p.m. game in Minneapolis. We'll get our first injury report of the week today, and the Birds had a lot of banged-up players in last week's game versus New York, so that's something to watch. They've also now lost 2 straight and have struggled to run the ball all year. Kevin Patullo was asked about increasing the amount of runs during his media availability yesterday.
I would like to increase it, obviously, and some of that we talked about a week ago is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
Now, liking to do it and doing it are 2 totally different things. We'll hear from head coach Nick Sirianni, who will meet with media today at 12:10. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets, and the Sixers will continue their preseason on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to discuss the Phillies season and the off-season plans. We're going to talk to Adam Schefter of ESPN at 7:55, Jeff McClain of The Inquirer at 8:25, and Scott Lauber of The Inquirer at 9:25. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday because everybody just wants to point the finger and say the offense sucks, Kevin Patullo sucks, all right? That is a very difficult place to win. The Eagles know that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the best 6 to 8 teams in the NFL, and they are a physical, and they are a good team. That is a playoff team. And that is a team that wants to go blow to blow, blow for blow with you. And they're not afraid to do that. And they very easily could have packed it in. They didn't. And they came out swinging in the second half. The Eagles' game plan and their offense in the first half yesterday, they came out, they were awesome. They had the umbrellas, the shades, or whatever they had. They were prepared because they saw what happened in previous years. And they said, we're not going to go down there and we're not going to let that happen again. Very smart by the Eagles to go down there and what they did. And you know what happened? In the second half, the Bucs made adjustments, and the Eagles, I think, were slow to adjust offensively, and it just seemed like that they were exhausted. And as the game went on, they had some injuries. They had guys that were cramping up. And give the Buccaneers credit. They made adjustments. You're playing against another team. It's not supposed to be easy for the entire game. And the Bucs made adjustments. And they came out, and they really gave it to the Eagles in the second half. A couple fluky long plays, but still. So that was a really, really good win by the Eagles yesterday.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bowe, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday. Because everybody.
All right, quick note. We are back on YouTube. So YouTube feed back up and running. Thank you to everybody who helped that out behind the scenes here. So if you do watch in the morning, please join us on YouTube. And if you end up watching when you get to work, it will be up and running. So thank you, everybody who's a part of Kincade and Salciunas. It's been a lot of fun doing the show, even though it hasn't necessarily been fun in Philadelphia sports because the Phillies lose quickly in the NLDS. And we are now in a really rough patch with the Eagles, who have lost 2 straight games, which is something that we are just not used to right now, right? We're not used to losing, period. No. It was, 200? How many days was it before the first
278,
loss?
I believe.
278 days before the Eagles lost a football game, right? Like, unbelievable. And they've now lost
twice in 5 days.
And there's been a lot of drama. Even during the 4-0 start, there was a lot of drama when it came to the offense because we all saw it. And then once it became mentioned by players like Lane Johnson about the predictability of the offense, now it's gotten even worse. So before we get to our text messages, speaking of Lane Johnson, the word predictable has been mentioned a lot with the Philadelphia Eagles. If you missed this last Thursday night, we've played it a few times, but this was Lane Johnson last week following the loss to the Giants talking about the predictability of the offense.
The consistency isn't there, so yeah, I mean it's not a finger pointing show. I'm with Kevin till the end. A lot of it goes down to execution. So we'll go back and look at this tape and see what we got to get fixed. So moving forward, maybe more efficient, less predictable, and capitalize on big plays and explosives.
So he brings up predictable, right? Nick Sirianni, we played the clip for you yesterday, but he spoke about it on Monday, trying to answer the question, and it was word salad. Like,
it was.
He had no answers. And, I love our YouTube people. There were people saying, wow, it's just a press conference. Well, when your head's spinning and you can't answer something, I have to sometimes wonder, all right, is your head spinning on the sideline? Now, Nick Sirianni doesn't call the play, but Kevin Patullo does.
So just to ask like the people who would say that, is there if you're the CEO of a company and your company has a really spiraling month, or you're in trouble, or you have a scandal breakout or anything, would you be okay if the leader of your company can't answer questions?
No, we would be really nervous.
Can't give you an explanation? A coach should be able to explain stuff without giving away state secrets.
Yeah.
Should be able to explain stuff, so it's ridiculous to be like, it's just a press conference. No, you should be able to give answers. By the way, Vic Fangio gives us answers every single week.
Yeah. Even if they're 5 words.
Every single week he gives you answers, and he knows how to do it.
So yesterday, it was Kevin Patullo's turn, and Kevin Patullo was asked specifically about what Lane Johnson had to say, and take a listen to his response.
I think the comment Lane had, and what's great about the players is the communication with all of us is constant, right? Whether it's during game, whether it's during the week, even on days off, things like that. So that's been really, really good and productive for us. And I think a lot of it comes down to is, and I know Nick alluded to this too, is sometimes situational moments in the game where, you're limited a little bit depending on where you're at field position, down and distance, select plays, what the defense does at times. If they're a big edge pressure team, during certain situations that can dictate a little bit what you want to do. So I think when you talk about the situational stuff and or, the predictability, you just got to look at kind of where the whole context is. And I think that's what kind of the last day or so, over the weekend things, we were able to kind of look at where we were, where we are, where we want to go, and what we know, we need to kind of do to go forward. And I think it was very productive. We had a good meeting yesterday as an offensive unit, and so I think we're in a good spot working forward.
So he just said a bunch of stuff again.
What did he say?
Let me break this down for you, Johnny.
Yeah, please.
So he talked about we always are communicating, right? Well, I literally saw Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have a miscommunication on the field and not communicate afterwards.
And
so,
they talk about the fact that they don't communicate during games.
Yeah, so I already kind of don't agree with Mr. Patullo there. When he starts talking about the defenses dictate, stop. You have all the talent in the world. Stop allowing the defense to dictate what you do. Now, I understand that if they go 10 guys in the box, you're not going to run the football. You're going to throw in that situation. I get it, right? But constantly going, we're letting the defense dictates what we do. Why?
Who's the best? Like, it's ridiculous.
You have all the talent in the freaking world.
It's absolutely ridiculous. When you are not being the bully. You are not being the aggressor. You're being passive. You're saying, I'm going to let them tell me what I'm allowed to do. You are supposed to be able to dictate. Their game plans don't dictate.
I understand that situationally it happens, right? Like
it
throughout
does
the
happen.
course of the game, it
like
happens.
Say, man, boy, we're trying to do what we want to do. They're shutting it down. So now we got to have our counterpunch.
We now have to adjust, which we have seen them not do multiple times this year. He has not been able to adjust. Now, one of the other things that really bugged me about the clip is when he talks about, when we're behind the sticks, it's predictable. Stop going behind the sticks. Like, it's how many 2nd and 12s have we seen this year? I get it. Easier said than done. But not when you have Saquon and AJ and Devontae and Dallas Goedert. Clearly, whatever your play calling is, whatever your game plan is, has not been good enough to not be behind the sticks more often than not. You have the worst 3-and-out percentage in the NFL, man.
And part of that is on the quarterback.
Yes, and we'll get to it.
Part of that's on the quarterback, so it's not all on Kevin Patullo. But it's obvious that what they're doing when you're predictable, that means the defense knows what to expect. And by the way, they know what you are doing by the way you line up. They're able to tell when Dan Orlovsky and Emmanuel Acho can tell exactly, okay, when the Eagles line up like this, here's what they do. Here's the first quarter, here's the second quarter, here's the third quarter. There's no unpredictability to this offense.
Baldy did a Baldy's breakdown yesterday.
Boy, he's good.
Of the exact same play 4 times in the second half against the Giants. How many points did he score in the second half?
I believe it was 0.
0 points. So they ran the exact same play 4 times. Baldy pointed it out. Look at this. Look at this. One of which, same drive, back-to-back plays. It was a 3rd and 10. They got a 5-yard play on it. They ran the exact same play. They just mirrored it. They just moved the guys to the opposite side of the field. That's it. And it's like, wow, really creative. Instead of doing it on this side of the field, we're going to do it on this side of the field.
It's because this guy drawing up plays does not have the ability to create. He's not create. He doesn't have the doctorate. He has a graduate. He has a BA. He doesn't have a master's. He doesn't have a doctorate.
Hey, that works in Madden. You just hit L1.
Yeah.
Computer doesn't know.
There you go.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? Because I wanted to get to this early because I know this is an uncomfortable day because there are going to be people, so negative. We already got a tweet from our man Walter McCray, who we love. Walter chimes in often. Did I wake up in a time machine? This show on the Eagles' negativity is sounding like one from 2023. Relax, guys.
Yeah, and I said, did you see what I said to him?
Yeah, you said 2023.
I said 2023. Reread your tweet. How'd that work out?
Didn't go well.
How'd that work out? Walter, come on now.
And look.
Got to get the head out of the sand. By the way, we just had a nor'easter. It could be really dangerous to have your head in the sand.
The feeling in week 6 is a lot different than the feeling week 6 last year. Last year was like anger. I'm concerned this year.
Yeah, there's concern.
Now, it turned last year. I'm worried. What do we got on the text line?
John V will lead us off, and he says, I felt like it was 2023 after week 3. Week 1 was the Cowboys and that weird delay. Week 2 is the Chiefs and Arrowhead. But after week 3, it started to become a consistent and obvious issue with the boring, predictable bubble screens, locker room BS, and bad defense.
Yeah, when it keeps going, to that texter's point, spot on. Because I talked about the delay a lot about week 1.
Yeah,
I do believe that played a factor for both teams, right? The Cowboys couldn't do anything either. The Chiefs, it's the Chiefs, right? That's going to be a tough game. But a horrible first half against the Rams, a horrible second half against the Buccaneers, a horrible second half against the Broncos, a horrible second half against the Giants. That's 4 straight weeks where you had an entire half of bad play, and some of those weeks you scored 0 points in those halves.
Correct.
That can't be.
But they're telling you you're supposed to be patient.
Well,
you're supposed to.
That's done.
It's okay. I mean, but is it though?
It has to be.
Listen,
I haven't seen a single patience text.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Because we're getting. I got to tell you, Connor, go read the comments from yesterday from the Jeremy Fowler interview from our listenership. There's a lot of people. Oh my gosh! Look at the alarm! Look at the panic! Look at the. Oh my gosh! This is incredible! This is the Super Bowl team. Can you believe this? Oh my gosh! Philly media. So I would completely disagree with your assessment.
Oh, I'm just telling you what I've read. Like, it may be on social media.
Well, if you go read what people are saying, that's what it is. That's what they're saying. That's our listeners.
Our question.
What they're saying.
Our question, and we'll get more texts on it. If you believe this feels like 2023, what made you feel that, and when did that start? When did you start having these feelings? I feel like we're in a session. If you don't think it's 2023, what makes you confident that this will turn? And come with, real talk. What will make this turn? Hopefully the mini buy is a big part of it. You can text in, call in 610-632-0975. We'll check more text messages on this coming up next. Also, each day we have a different topic about the Phillies, either a group of players or a specific person. And in this case, today, has Dave Dombrowski snuck by the critics? I've been trying to tell you. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Attention.
So, if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies, because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like, Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason, but then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that question.
By the way, great question. That is a
Told you it was a good one.
That's a capital G question. Wait a minute, then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah, dude, seriously. He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That
better not be stolen.
If I don't hear
it,
dude, I'd be pissed, Dylan.
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect for me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get?
I don't know. I think we're getting crushed for stuff. But no, I would say
probably because we talked about AJ.
I would say I hope. I would say that I hope. I hope that Bryce Harper is going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is it's a great question. Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best player in the world, right? And then
who's supposed to be your best player? So who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday. Yes. Did you see the Pharrell commercial? Where he's
yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Schwarber's on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies? Mm-hmm. The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but I'm not confident. That's a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered.
Great.
You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah, it's not football.
It's very segmented because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah, but those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time because it's during the summer and early fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude,
is forced.
The amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a nice activity, though.
No, I bet those people.
So yes, I do.
You do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
What?
Yeah.
You're tailgating it. You're bringing a child to the game.
I'm not getting whacked. We're gonna eat hoagies together.
That's not a tailgate.
That's exactly what it is. Tailgating does not mean getting sloshed.
No, I'm talking about a tailgate means there's a full spread, there's beer, there's
I'll
music,
have a pop. I'll have our chairs. We'll put a little table out so you can eat a sandwich. Yeah, I'm
What's the
tailgating
hour?
today.
6:41 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. We will turn our Phillies attention on today's Phillies debate day or topic day when it comes to Dave Dombrowski. So we'll do that in a few minutes. But Connor, I want to get to some more text messages because, look, yesterday was a really interesting day with Jeremy Fowler's interview and then the fallout from it, right? The responses that we saw from a lot of our listeners on social media that took exception to the things that he was saying. Now, look, fans are supposed to have their teams back, right? So I said it earlier, it's very little brother theory where it's, hey, I can say whatever the hell I want about my little brother, but once you do, it's time to throw hands, right? I'm going to protect my little brother. You can't say something about him, I can. And through 6 weeks, the conversation locally about the Eagles has not necessarily been pleasant. Right? Like, even a lot of our texters have pointed out a lot of the issues with the team. So I think everyone's kind of feeling it. But once people from the outside start talking about it, people get upset. Now,
which I don't understand. Do you want to live with your head in the sand, or do you want to live with get this thing fixed?
Right. Now,
let's get it fixed.
I would get it if like when Drew Brees a couple weeks ago was doing the whole, there's such a boring offense, right? Like, all right, dude, well, they're winning. But this is reporting. Like, this is not just a guy that's throwing stuff out there. This is not a guy that is just, let me try to get a reaction out of people. He doesn't work here. He doesn't work for 97.5 The Fanatic. Like, I saw a guy yesterday on our Instagram account, and I responded to him. He was like, I'm tired of this station, always negative. I go, dude, that was a guest. That wasn't us, my man. Like, that was a guest that provided insight. Insight, by the way, that does concern me. So what are the people saying on the text line this morning about the Eagles?
This texter says, I don't know if Patullo just stinks or what, but it's like 2023. First-time OC calling plays. Seems safe, calling a safe but predictable offense. He needs to get off safe and do something more, well, I can't say the words that he says, but you get the tone of the text there.
The one thing I heard a lot yesterday, and I heard some of it on Unfiltered and a little bit on Middays with Marks, is the fact is, well, what do you want Jalen to do? They have a little bit of a banged-up offensive line, and the offensive line's not doing their job, so how do you expect Jalen to be able to throw and all that kind of stuff? I just had to look at the numbers that Joe Burrow's had in his career. He's had a bottom 7, bottom 8 offensive line his entire career, including going to a Super Bowl where he had a bottom 10. And Joe Burrow just torches people through the air.
Look, sometimes it's the quarterback.
You can't just go to the offensive line's banged up. By the way, the Eagles' offensive line is banged up and has not been their best. But the Eagles' offensive line is not bottom 5.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not as bad as a guy. There are quarterbacks who play with bad offensive lines their whole careers.
Sure.
And they manage to throw. Yeah, look what Spencer Rattler's doing right now in New Orleans. Spencer freaking Rattler.
Yeah.
By the way, he's throwing the ball better than Jalen Hurts. And Spencer Rattler has I don't know.
He doesn't have an NFL team.
I mean, sir, and he's throwing the ball better with, by the way, Kellen Moore. He's throwing the ball better than Jalen Hurts.
What else we got on the text line?
C from Bucks County says, Jeremy Fowler said the teams view Hurts as a limited pocket passer where he struggles when the defense shows simulated pressure, plays zone coverage behind it. That's an indictment on both the Super Bowl MVP and the offensive coaching staff. Teams are copying the same game plan, and the Eagles have no answer for it, no halftime adjustments. That's definitely like 2023 to me.
And that's what's
fair.
scary. Like
that's fair.
It's
that's a really fair
it's very similar. All right, I know the time of the year is different, so hopefully now that it's earlier, maybe it gets fixed better. I don't know, but like when our man Andrew DeCecco always talks about, it's the offensive struggles are it's a collaboration, right? He's not. It's not that he doesn't want to blame Patullo. It's Jalen has not been great. Patullo definitely deserves the majority of the blame for this because the offense is totally boring. Like Drew Brees wasn't wrong,
but by his nature, Andrew is a very much more I'm going to let things bake and be patient guy.
Sure.
By his nature. That to me at this point has worn out.
Because it's been 6 weeks.
It's worn out. Yeah, that's worn out. They can't do that anymore.
And look, there's people that are hesitant to blame Jalen. I've been trying to do it the last couple of weeks. Like,
no,
guys, Jalen Hurts has not been good.
No, can't do it.
Like he hasn't been good. There are literally plays for all the YouTube tape study people. Like there are plays when
it's bad.
There's guys wide open.
Bad. No, it's bad.
And Hurts has thrown them, He's just not hitting them.
No, it's bad.
It's been a problem this year, but it is a collective problem for the Eagles. Now, look, it's not just Eagles Day. It's also Dave Dombrowski Day, Johnny. Dave Dombrowski will be our focus of our conversation today when it comes to the Phillies offseason. Now, coming up in the next segment, you're going to hear some rumors and you're going to hear some audio from Jason Stark about what the Phillies might do. But I've been consistent with this, John. Dave Dombrowski has got by a lot with his resume and the belief that he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this. The team has been successful. You can't deny that they win baseball games, and he is a part of the reason why a lot of key players have been here.
No question. He's done a great job.
But his decision to not make trades to improve your outfield in 2024 is part of the reason why you fell apart. His decision to run it back. Other than Jesus Luzardo in 2025 before the season started is part of the reason why you did not have a successful October. His decision to move on, the only people he didn't run it back with were key members of your bullpen, and then you once again had to make trades to acquire bullpen arms. Now, fortunately, Duran is here for some time. But we want to focus on Dave Dombrowski today because sometimes you can feel confident about things moving forward because of leadership, right? And Dave Dombrowski is a guy where I think people go, oh, yeah, this look at the six. Everywhere he goes, he's had success.
Okay.
Everywhere he goes, he's won. Do people still feel that way about Dave Dombrowski?
Well, you can't. I don't think you can argue it because he's had success here.
He has.
And he's got it. But you know what John Middleton gave him that he didn't give his predecessor? That bankroll. He did not. Like people talk about, well, he came here and he won. Okay, great. And look, I'm a Dave Dombrowski fan overall. I mean, his entire career, I'm absolutely a fan. But he got a payroll to work with that his predecessor did not have. When you're talking about a top 4 payroll over his tenure here, you better be able to get 90 wins a year. You better be in the playoffs. You better be able to build a team. But one thing that is very different is he's done things differently here. He's very reluctant to deal prospects. He's reluctant to push his chips in here. And he really loves the old players. Well, he loves old.
And the thing is,
he loves old.
The flaws of this baseball team have been pointed out by fans and radio hosts for over a year now. Like we've pointed out, hey, this guy not being able to hit for power at a corner position is a bit of a problem. Your second baseman that's been a platoon for now every season of his career for 4 years now, that's problematic. And these are supposed to be the brightest baseball minds that are supposed to, well, don't worry. Stott's going to start hitting lefties better.
Yeah, it's all going to start.
Marsh is going to start hitting lefties better. And it doesn't.
No, and you're supposed to be patient. I'm tired of being patient. I'm tired of this because we saw in 2023, everybody told you don't worry about what you're seeing.
Right.
Because they were 10-1. This year they're 4-2. It's a different start.
So our Dave Dombrowski question for you today at 610-632-0975. Do you still have like that overall confidence? Like, this guy is going to win us a World Series or get us to a point where we can win a World Series. Do you still have that confidence in a future Hall of Famer?
Sure.
Because I don't, and I haven't for a long time. Coming up next, the offseason rumors have begun. How many years for Schwarber? And a Hall of Fame writer, Jason Stark, tells you that things will look different next year. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Heading on to Week 7, I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to gear up for their matchup with the Vikings this Sunday, a 1 p.m. game up in Minnesota, and we'll get our first injury report of the week today. The Birds had a lot of banged-up players in last week's game versus the Giants, so we'll keep an eye on that closely. They also have now lost 2 straight, and they've struggled to run the ball all year. Kevin Patullo met with media yesterday and was asked about increasing the amount of run plays.
I would like to increase it, obviously, and some of that, like we talked about a week ago, is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
Maybe that's what the Eagles need to stabilize the ship. Head coach Nick Sirianni will meet with media today at 12:10. Interesting to hear what he will say. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets. The Sixers will continue their preseason action on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to discuss the Phillies season and the offseason. off-season plans. Adam Schefter of ESPN joins us at 7:55. Jeff McClain of The Inquirer at 8:25 for the latest on the Birds, and Scott Lauber of The Inquirer for the latest on the Phils at 9:25. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Hurry, Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale ends soon. Find your perfect bed and save big on better rest today. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday because everybody just wants to point the finger and say the offense sucks, Kevin Patullo sucks, all right? That is a very difficult place to win. The Eagles know that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the best 6 to 8 teams in the NFL, and they are a physical, and they are a good team. That is a playoff team. And that is a team that wants to go blow to blow, blow for blow with you. And they're not afraid to do that. And they very easily could have packed it in. They didn't. And they came out swinging in the second half. The Eagles' game plan and their offense in the first half yesterday, they came out, they were awesome. They had the umbrellas, the shades, or whatever they had. They were prepared because they saw what happened in previous years. And they said, we're not going to go down there and we're not going to let that happen again. Very smart by the Eagles to go down there and what they did. And you know what happened? In the second half, the Bucs made adjustments, and the Eagles, I think, were slow to adjust offensively, and it just seemed like that they were exhausted. And as the game went on, they had some injuries. They had guys that were cramping up. And give the Buccaneers credit. They made adjustments. You're playing against another team. It's not supposed to be easy for the entire game. And the Bucs made adjustments. And they came out, and they really gave it to the Eagles in the second half. A couple fluky long plays, but still. So that was a really, really good win by the Eagles yesterday.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
.5 The Fanatic. Really cool opportunity for those of you who want to see the Sixers at the home opener October 25th against the Hornets. We'll tell you how you can win it at some point today. We're going to be giving away a pair of tickets for the home opener against the Hornets. The season starts in a week when they take on the Celtics in Boston. And I saw Nick Nurse said yesterday there is a slight chance that we will see Joel Embiid in 2 nights. Final preseason game against the Timberwolves. So
now, if that happens,
then he's good to go game 1, and there's no question. Yeah, absolutely.
Which would be an amazing. You're talking about things to get people enthused.
Sure,
that's something that raises the enthusiasm level for the season tenfold.
I said yesterday on social media, there was a video yesterday of Embiid they were doing one-on-one drills, and he was cooking everyone. And he had this smile on his face. And I was like, dude, I haven't seen that. Like a happy Joel. And look, last year sucked. The injuries, the way things played out against the Knicks, the season that he was having, and then the injury, like, we have not seen that. The story that was written during the offseason where he sort of, bared his soul a little bit, like, I had not seen a happy Joel Embiid in quite some time. And to see that yesterday, I was like, all right, just give me a good vibe season to start.
Well, that would be
I need
number one. That would be number one on the good vibes season.
Because here's the deal. This is the first time where there's no, like, oh, no, what's the roster going to look like? Questions.
That's exciting.
Think about 3 years ago, Simmons, or however long ago it was, James Harden, is he going to be on the team? Is he not going to be on the team? Last year, we knew that the roster coming into the season was not going to be the roster they finished off with because everybody was old. Everybody. And so for the first time in a long time, you're coming into the season with, all right, this is the roster. Sure, they'll probably add somebody if necessary. If they're playing well, they'll probably add something. But this is the first time in a long time where you kind of know the roster going into the year.
What did that old roster say to you? Like it didn't give you much hope?
No, nothing. And now you can at least see maybe the other side, whenever that happens with a lot of the young players.
Remember that thought point.
We'll let you know, by the way, how you can win those tickets. But the Sixers are kicking off the season with a fun activity in the city today. So if you're in or around the city of Philadelphia, it's time to spot the Sixers. Keep your eyes on the Sixers social media at Sixers, so Twitter, Instagram, you name it, for information that will lead you straight to the 76ers surprise landmark in Philadelphia. And when you find the spot, show up, rep the Sixers, and you could score big giveaways, ranging from the classic 2001 memorabilia to an autographed Hardwood Classic Edition jersey. Single game tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers, and a cool opportunity if you're around the city to try to win some cool prizes.
I got an idea, though. I'm guessing they won't be in Chinatown. That's my guess. Just a guess. Just a thought.
Probably a good guess.
Probably not in Chinatown.
Probably a good guess. All right, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We'll get back to our Eagles text messages. Do you believe this feels like 2023? What led to that belief, right? What was the moment? When was it? Is it just a feel, a vibe, or things that are being said? Jeremy Fowler yesterday told us straight up that a player after the loss to the Giants told him it feels like 2023. That is alarms. We had the fire alarms going off during one of our segments. Yes. I think that was Jeremy Fowler saying that there are players in the locker room, or at least one player. And if it's one player, who knows who they're talking to? At least one player feels like it's kind of like 2023. That needs to get changed quickly.
And by the way, a lot of these stories come out to the national guys a lot more than the local guys.
Yes.
The local guys don't tend to break these stories as much as the national guys. For whatever reason, they're more comfortable talking to the national guys about this kind of stuff.
Sure.
I don't know why, but that's what they are.
So does it feel like 2023? If not, what is keeping you from feeling it? What legitimate? You got to give me real reasons, though. Like, what are your reasons why you think it's going to turn? What gives you that confidence? Now, the Phillies, it's Dave Dombrowski. Let's start with the clip from Jason Stark, Connor. Jason Stark yesterday with Unfiltered. Always love Jason Stark being on the station. He's a tremendous Hall of Fame baseball writer. Here he is talking about how there will be changes. He starts off talking about Topper, but how there will be changes to the roster for the 2026 season.
I honestly don't think that Rob coming back was a surprise, and not, even though there's a lot of nothing there in that series to second guess. But the bottom line is Rob Thompson's been one of the most successful managers over the first 4 years of his career of any manager in history. Never managed a team that missed the playoffs. So really hard to fire that guy because fans and callers never, like, they want somebody to take the fall. I get it. And I do think that Dave Dombrowski and John Middleton are listening to those fans. I think there will be changes over the next few months that reflect that. I think it's possible there are some changes coming in the coaching staff. I can't see Nick Castellanos returning. I think they'll make a big effort to trade Alec Boehm a year out from free agency. Does it get bigger than that? It might. Like, if they think Justin Crawford is the left fielder of the future, and they don't think Brandon March is a center fielder, I think he is in play. And then what they go out and do in free agency on the on the trade front, Dave knows he can't bring this group back intact. He will be bold, and that could mean anything.
Bold. What does bold, when you hear Jason Stark say bold, what does bold mean to you?
Creative trades, Pete Alonso being a free agent.
Something that shakes things up, right?
Sure.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Look, I don't think Turner or Harper are moved. Definitely not Harper. I know you've been talking about how maybe Turner, this could be the year if there's
ever a year to move him, right, this could be it.
I don't see that happening. But bold, I think, is kind of what I said to you guys the day after the season ended. You could see 6 new starters. Think about right? I think Real Muto is back, but second base, you could see a new starter. Are you tired of platooning at second base? Because I am. Third base, you just heard they're going to really try to trade Alec Boehm. Good.
Which, by the way, telegraphing again.
Yeah, I know.
Because if Jason Stark's hearing it, then they're telegraphing it again, which is so dumb.
And then 3 new outfielders. That's 5. That is 5 different positions that we could see in 2026. So that's bold. That is a whole new looking team, which I hope happens, because I don't need to see Brandon Marsh wear a Phillies uniform ever again, and I don't need him batting 5th. I can't see that ever again. Alec Boehm and his singles, even though he was not a problem in this series, I believe in terms of the lineup construction, it's a problem to have your 4-hole hitter slap singles. I can't do that anymore. You need right-handed pop, and he doesn't provide it for you. Castellanos, it's a divorce. It has to be at this point.
Well, the thing is, though, here's the only problem with these things. If you're trading Boehm, what are you getting?
That's great. I don't know. It's a great question.
If you're trading Castellanos, what do you get?
I don't know what their market value is.
If you're trading Trey Turner, if you did find somebody willing to take on 8 seasons of a 33-year-old Trey Turner, if you found somebody to take that money off your hands, you're paying money on that deal, and you're getting jack.
Sure.
You're not getting, we're going to give you some hot young prospects. No, you're getting, what they've got to give, they don't have anything to give that people are like, man, let's talk to the Phillies. Let's talk about these big trades.
Yeah, but that's not the focus. You're not trading these guys for return. You're trading these guys for change.
Yeah. And I need it.
No. I need the change too. But I hear people talking about trading.
Yeah, you're not trading Boehm for prime Derek Jeter.
But you're not getting quality in return. So where's all the quality coming from?
The minor leagues. Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, Andrew Painter.
Well, Andrew Painter, we had no clue what he is. We have no clue when Aiden Miller is going to be ready. Justin Crawford's the only guy who was ready this year, and they didn't use him.
They didn't use him.
I get you, Connor, and you make sense. But we have no idea. Aiden Miller struggled mightily at Double-A last year. We have no idea if he's going to be able to make a transition to go hit major league pitching.
Yeah, he got promoted end of the year because he heated up. I mean, bottom line, that's the gamble you have to take. If you want change, those are your guys.
I'm willing to take that gamble because I can't
as well.
I can't watch these guys anymore. Now, there was a report yesterday from Scott Lauber, who's going to be joining us coming up at 9:25. So we have Adam Schefter, normal Wednesday hit, 7:55. Jeff McClain could not do yesterday, so he'll join us today at 8:25 because there's a lot of Eagles stuff to get into. But yesterday, Scott Lauber in the Inquirer, Inquirer.com, he does a great job covering the Phillies. Quote from his article: the expectation within the sport is Schwarber will seek 5 years. Unprecedented for a DH who will be 33 next season.
It's crazy.
So I'm going to repeat what Johnny Marks said yesterday, even though I know where your head is, Johnny Kincade.
Yes.
Johnny Marks said yesterday, we probably all would have been on it for 3 or 4, right? Would you have taken Kyle Schwarber back for 3 years?
Oh, sign it tomorrow.
Would you have taken Kyle Schwarber back for 4 years?
I'd contemplate it.
All right.
Contemplate it depending on the money.
If the 5th year means you have him or you don't, you got to do it.
No. Trey Turner, 8 seasons left, 33 years old next year.
I know.
Bryce Harper, 6 seasons left, 33 years old next year. You're telling me you're going to get Kyle Schwarber for 5 years, 33 years old next year. Aaron Nola, 5 seasons left, 33 years old next year. You're going to sign JT Realmuto, right?
All right.
You're going to sign JT Realmuto. 35 years old next year.
I'm not locked in on that.
Okay.
I told you, Adley Rutschman, 27, you can make a trade.
And I'm not either. 35 years, yeah, but the fan base saying, oh, you give JT 2 or 3. He's 35 next year.
So here's the difference with Schwarber.
This is ridiculous.
Here's the difference with Schwarber with those other players. And you're not wrong. Like, look, I don't want to all of a sudden, what do you used to call them, the Golden Girls. Like, I get you. The difference with Schwarber and those players, Schwarber had his, career year.
He did. Now, I'm not paying somebody on the career year when they're old.
But there's precedent for a DH to hit into their 40s.
So these other players that you mentioned, you can make a legitimate case they're on the decline with those contracts. I have not seen something yet out of Schwarber that he's on a decline.
No, we have not.
So he could be year 3, year 4, year 5.
Correct. So and you know who else is already on the decline? Bryce Harper.
Yeah. No, we had that conversation.
He's got 6 years left. Trey Turner hasn't been the impact player you expected him to be. He's 33 next year, and he has 8 seasons left. We cannot have all these declining assets on huge money contracts.
But we don't know if Schwarber's declining yet. We don't know.
But we're going
57 home runs and 128 RBI. I can't just all of a sudden let that go.
Do you think his career year, do you think he ever has it again?
He's hit 50 home runs 3 straight years, right?
Do you think he ever has this year again?
This will be his best season, but I don't think the fall-off's going to be dramatic. How's that?
Okay. I think if you're telling me 45 and 100, I agree with you.
All right, we'll get back to our text messages. So, Phillies now. Is Dave Dombrowski sliding by here? Do you still believe? Do you still have that confidence in him? And would you give Kyle Schwarber a 5-year deal? 610-632-0975. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
John.
Yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday because everybody just wants to point the finger and say the offense sucks, Kevin Patullo sucks, all right? That is a very difficult place to win. The Eagles know that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the best 6 to 8 teams in the NFL, and they are a physical, and they are a good team. That is a playoff team. And that is a team that wants to go blow to blow, blow for blow with you. And they're not afraid to do that. And they very easily could have packed it in. They didn't. And they came out swinging in the second half. The Eagles' game plan and their offense in the first half yesterday, they came out, they were awesome. They had the umbrellas, the shades, or whatever they had. They were prepared because they saw what happened in previous years. And they said, we're not going to go down there. We're not going to let that happen again. Very smart by the Eagles to go down there and what they did. And you know what happened? In the second half, the Bucs made adjustments, and the Eagles, I think, were slow to adjust offensively, and it just seemed like that they were exhausted. And as the game went on, they had some injuries, they had guys that were cramping up, and give the Buccaneers credit. They made adjustments. You're playing against another team. It's not supposed to be easy for the entire game, and the Bucs made adjustments. And they came out, and they really gave it to the Eagles in the second half. A couple fluky long plays, but still. So that was a really, really good win by the Eagles yesterday.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Kelleher.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Seven a.m. hours brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Shout out to Joe Pepe, not Pepe Sanchez, but Joe Pepe on social media. 2 minutes ago, tweeted out, you have Bryce Harper for 5+ years. You have Trey Turner for 5+ years. You have Nola's contract for 5 more years. If Kyle Schwarber wants a 5-year deal, you give it to him because your team is unfortunately built for the 5 years already. You played the hand. He then follows up saying, also, I'm listening, and he tags you and me to Andrew and John in standstill traffic. It's the only reason I'm not losing my mind. So thank you for being a part of the show, Joe, and I'm sorry that you're in standstill traffic right now.
Joe, by the way, Harper, you got 6 years. So Harper will be 39 when it's done. Trey Turner will be 41 when his deal's done. You got 8 years of Trey Turner. You got 5 of Aaron Nola. Tim Homan sends a note to me, and he says, I don't know how a guy who is arguably the best shortstop in the league by many how you can say a guy who is arguably the best shortstop in the league by many people around the league is not an impact player, Trey Turner. I don't know who's telling you he's best shortstop in the league. Now, if you're talking about a batting,
yeah, sure.
This year
batting title.
He had a great year this year batting. He was fantastic. Best shortstop in the league.
Look, the future is him still shifting over to second.
A 33-year-old shortstop that is not. No, he is not.
The future is him going to second base.
And he's got to be. But by the way, last year, which they could have done, they didn't because I think they have the better shortstop playing second.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because Stott would be a better shortstop.
But I don't want Stott on the team anymore.
But they won't. They wouldn't do that because Trey didn't want to.
Sure. Well.
So they literally let the tail wag the dog. And that is Rob Thompson and the organization letting players dictate to them.
Time to put your foot down, baby.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get back to our Phillies text, but I know a lot of people chiming in on the Eagles as well. So if you're just tuning in, welcome in. Our YouTube feed is up and running, so you get back to watching on YouTube. But thank you for however you listen, even if it's in standstill traffic like Joe Pepe.
John Marks was, by the way, getting grief for what you're doing today. Wearing your hat backwards. John Marks was getting grief for it.
I don't know why.
From YouTube people.
Whatever.
They were giving him hell.
So we had Jeremy Fowler from ESPN on yesterday. Let people look the way they want to look. Jeremy Fowler was on yesterday. And unprovoked, he brings up a conversation that he had with a player after the Eagles' second straight loss when they lost to the Giants. And take a listen to what Jeremy Fowler had to say.
I was in the locker room the other night. I was at the game Thursday, and I've reported this, but I did talk to a player who says it does feel like 2023 right now a little bit. The end of 23, we've got to change that. We've got to redirect this thing to avoid that. That was a pretty strong message that I was told, and so they got to sort of figure that out.
So players are already talking about it. Could just be one. Could be multiple.
I don't believe it's one.
Players are already talking about it.
Exactly.
And when Jeremy Fowler says it's a strong message. Now, look, again, I'm trying to also balance the confidence angle. They have 10 days, or they're in the middle of a 10-day break from the loss to the Giants. Last year, around this time, was the Week 5 bye where everything changed. This isn't a bye week, but it's a mini bye. They've had 10 days. They had a couple days to just leave the building, right? Don't think about football for a few days, which is why I'll continuously bring up Victory Monday being canceled. It's stupid.
Right.
Get out of the building for a little bit, decompress, let's get back together, let's get to work. So our question for you today, if you believe this feels like 2023, what made you start feeling that? To me, I tried ignoring it as much as possible, but I could not ignore the second halves or first half or second. Like the offensive performances I could not ignore. You just can't. It's bad. And because Kevin Patullo does not look like he really has a feel for calling plays throughout the course of a game, an entire game, right? I don't give a damn about great halves. I care more about the horrible halves than the bad halves, because you can't have a 0-point first or second half, because either way, that's either going to put you behind in a game, and sometimes you can come back like you did against the Rams, or sometimes it'll be the second half where the opposing team comes back. You are fortunate that you didn't lose to the Buccaneers, and then, of course, you did lose to the Broncos and the Giants. If you don't believe it feels like 2023, what makes you confident that this will turn? What do we got on the text line?
All right, so this texter checks in, says the Eagles this year never passed the eye test. Even with the wins early on, the team fell off just like 2023. The problem is there's nothing they can do. If you fire Kevin Patullo, the year's over. If you keep Kevin Patullo, the year's over. What's the lesson? Never let Nick hire assistant coaches again.
Well, I agree with that last part.
Wait a minute, the season's over if you fire Kevin Patullo? Why?
I don't. Well,
Like, why would that be? Why would you
installing a whole nother offensive system?
No. You don't have to install a whole nother offense.
Well, you do, because this one isn't working.
You'll have a similar offense.
Supposedly Nick and all the other offensive coaches have been a part of installing this, so you just have to have somebody else call plays.
Well, the question
and
is
design plays.
Who is that?
Well,
because Nick's not going to do it.
Well, then what you need to do is you need to bring in an offensive assistant who comes in here, and you say, you are not redesigning, you're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
Here's our book. Here's what we're doing. What can you tweak? What can you work with?
Sure.
Let's call some different
And it'll be little changes, nothing
Correct.
like, again, the people that talk about Mike McDaniel, like, it's not like
Mike McDaniel's not coming.
Right, but it's not like he would come in here and all of a sudden you're running pre-snap motion.
He's not
You know what I
coming
mean? So the end of that text, read the final line or two from that text message. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, the Kevin Patullo stuff, if they keep him, the year is over. If they fire him, the year is over. The lesson, never let Nick Sirianni hire an assistant again.
If this goes, John and I did this on post-show headlines on YouTube, so check it out, Kincade Salciunas post-show headlines, search it. We do it every day after the show. If this continues to go this way, Nick Sirianni will have no power left.
And
None.
he shouldn't.
And he should not.
If this goes south like this, he should have no power left to make these kind of decisions.
These decisions. Obviously, game day, and in between the week. But, like, remember Howie's press conference? They always do the joint press conference before the season starts.
After 2023, the one?
No, this one. Going into the season.
Was terrible, that one.
Yeah, I know. But going into this season, Howie basically said, I hand the keys to Nick when we kick off week one. Remember, he said something that I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the extent of, I hand the keys over to Nick in week one, or Nick said I take these, whatever. It's got to be that way moving forward.
Yes.
Like, no more Nick Sirianni gets to promote from within or pick a guy. Like, he clearly doesn't have a feel. It could be a loyalty thing, right? We saw it with Doug Peterson and Mike Rowe. We've seen it with Rob Thompson. This spans over all sports. This is not just a football thing. Loyalty can sometimes be a problem for people. And
this loyalty is. Loyalty is a problem.
Absolutely.
And more importantly, this loyalty isn't a guy with a great resume. That's the difference.
Hey, never called plays.
Right, exactly. This is the Super Bowl champs went to a guy who'd never done it.
All right, so coming up next, one of the quotes from our interview with Jeremy Fowler yesterday got a lot of run on social media. And as fans should, they fought the sentiment from the league because they wanted to have their teams back. But I'm curious, though. Do people realize that Hurts hasn't been great this year? Do you realize it? Let's discuss that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Getting ready for the Vikings. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to gear up for their matchup with Minnesota this Sunday at 1 p.m. game from Minneapolis, and we'll get our first injury report of the week today. The Eagles had a lot of banged-up players after last week's game in New York, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on ahead of Week 7. They also have now lost 2 straight, and they've struggled to run the ball all year. Kevin Patullo was asked about increasing the amount of runs in the offense yesterday.
I would like to increase it, obviously, and some of that we talked about a week ago is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
Getting Saquon going would not be a bad thing. We'll see if that happens in Week 7. Head coach Nick Sirianni meets with media today at 12:10. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets. The Sixers will continue their preseason on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to discuss the Phillies season and the offseason plans. We'll talk to Adam Schefter of ESPN coming up at 7:55. Jeff McClain of the Inquirer at 8:25. And Scott Lauber for the latest on the Phillies at 9:25. This update is brought to you by Audible. Stuck in traffic? Audible's romance collection will have you falling fast in the slow lane. Satisfy every side of you with rom-coms, romantasy, and the really steamy stuff. Listen free with a 30-day trial at audible.com. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
So if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies, because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason. But then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that question.
By the way, great question. That is a
told you it was a good one.
That's a capital G
one.
question. Wait a minute then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah, dude, seriously. He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That's
that
that's
better
all,
not be stolen.
If I don't
swear
hear
to you.
Dude, I'd be
swear
pissed,
to you.
Dylan.
There, seriously.
By
the way,
Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect from me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get booed
I don't know.
for?
I think we're getting crushed for
What did
stuff.
I get
But
booed
no,
for?
I would say
probably because we talked about AJ
I would
Brown
say
for
I
too
hope
much.
I would say that I hope that Bryce Harper's going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's
Okay.
Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is
It's a great question.
Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best
Yeah.
player in the world, right? And then
Who's supposed to be your best player?
So
who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday.
Yes.
Did you see the Pharrell commercial where he's?
Oh yeah, yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Schwarber's on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Mm-hmm.
The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered. You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah, it's not football.
It's very segmented because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah, but those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time because it's during the summer and early fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude,
think
is
it's forced.
the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a nice activity, though.
No, I bet those people.
So yes, I do.
But you do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
What?
Yeah.
You're tailgating it. You're taking a child to the game.
I'm not getting whacked. We're going to eat hoagies together.
That's not a tailgate.
That's exactly what it is. Tailgating does not mean getting sloshed.
No, I'm talking about a tailgate means There's a full spread. There's beer. There's
I'll
music.
have a pop. I'll have our chairs. We'll put a little table out so you can eat a sandwich. Yeah, I'm tailgating today.
Well, then we have different definitions of tailgate. I'm talking a tailgate is like an Eagles tailgate, where there's people putting out a table with a tablecloth, and there's food, and there's music, and there's beer, and there's all that stuff. I'm not talking about people eating out of the trunk of their car like it's one step up from homelessness.
I count that as tailgating.
Well, okay, but we have different.
Because you're hanging out before the game.
Think of my definition of tailgating.
Sure.
Okay, the one that's a little more elaborate.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, do you do that?
I did last year.
You did do that?
Yeah, and I had way too much fun before even going into the game.
And what did it do to you? Did you fall asleep during the game? Or anything?
No, I fell asleep, but I realized on the drive home they won.
You were like, oh, there you go.
Go Phillies. All right, that's post-show headlines. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow's what, Thursday?
Yeah, tomorrow we may be doing a Red October edition.
Yes.
Because we could be previewing the NLDS because Friday we will, of course, be doing a pregame edition
for the Birds Broncos. And yeah, if the Dodgers win tonight,
we're in it.
We'll be talking about it tomorrow. All right, so good.
Come on, Reds.
All right, guys, talk to you tomorrow here on Post-Show Headlines and, of course, on the air starting at 6. See ya.
.26 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Just sort of scanning our YouTube chat during the commercial break.
How is everybody today?
All over the place.
It's sort of a weird time right after the Phillies get knocked out and stuff like that.
Right, and the Eagles have lost 2 straight games, and a lot of people don't want to believe that it feels like 2023, or there's people that have been saying that it's going to be bad pretty much all season. But I just want to address something because somebody, Mikey C, and thank you for always being a part of the YouTube
What's up,
chat.
Mikey?
You can platoon, positions. The 93, you can platoon one position, he said, but the 93 Phillies platoon 3, and it worked.
Yeah, 1993.
And so here's the deal.
Not today.
Well, hold on. Not just that. What happened in 94 before the lockout? They were under 500.
By the way, they were the worst team in the division the year before. They hit lightning in a bottle.
Sure.
They got luck. 93 was a lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Great start. They started to believe. They got lucky. Everything went their way. And they never recreated it again.
2022, the Phillies platooned multiple positions. Sometimes it works. But what I have just been trying to fight the good fight for a while now is instead of having 3 positions where you have 3 players, 6 players technically, that aren't good enough to play every day, I'd rather have players that can play every day.
Why would you want that? Who wants that? Why would you want that?
Stott is a tremendous fielding second baseman.
He is.
And he turned his offensive season around facing right-handed pitching. But he can't bat against lefties. And so that means you have to platoon 1 position. Brandon Marsh, same thing, but can't hit lefties. If Harrison Bader did not get hurt, Brandon Marsh is not your game 2 starter.
No,
he's not playing.
He's not.
So I would rather have guys that can play every day and guys that can face both arms, which is why a couple of years ago I was floored by Dave Dombrowski saying we'd rather have 4 outfielders than 3. That was when the Jorge Soler, Teoscar Hernandez guys were available.
And we wanted them.
I wanted either of them because I wanted an everyday player and not, we'd rather play the numbers game. It's like, all right, well, there's a reason why you have to play the numbers games with certain players because they can't play every single day. So you're not wrong, Mikey C. It has happened to Dodgers platoon players as well.
But they're not having 3 platoons running. No.
They're also platooning all-stars.
Correct.
Right.
There's a difference.
Max Muncy's a platoon.
Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable. All right.
I hated seeing him come off the bench, by the way.
I know.
In that series. I was
like,
son of a.
Because it freaks you out.
I'm like, son of a.
And by the way, he had another big night yesterday. Dodgers up 2-0 against those Brewers, by the way.
We'll talk about it in headlines.
The Eagles. Does it feel like 2023? We'll get back to some text messages. But yesterday, Jeremy Fowler with us. So you asked a great question about what is the league saying about the Philadelphia
Eagles. Want to know, right?
And as you guys know, I value the executive and scout rankings more than the player poll.
Yeah, you always have been that way. You're consistent with that.
Because these guys have to, come up with the game plan, right? The coach tells the player, this is what we're doing. Whereas the player sees highlight reel because they're not watching football all day. They're playing. Now, they may have played up against certain players, and that's why they felt the way that they did about ranking certain players. But ultimately, the scouts and the coaches and the executives, they're the ones that have to make decisions about their roster, their game plan, you name it. And Jalen Hurts came in at number 9 on the top 10 quarterback ranking, despite winning the Super Bowl MVP. Here was Jeremy Fowler yesterday talking about the league-wide perception of Jalen Hurts.
That's kind of where my conversation was this summer, because I do top 10 rankings of players, but I do it through execs, coaches, and scouts. And part of the reason why I do it is it's a good read, but also it just gives me a lot of knowledge about situations. And quarterbacks, I spent a lot of time on that. Jalen Hurts was our 9th quarterback, and a lot of people were outraged about that, including a lot of people in Philadelphia, because the Super Bowl winner outperformed Patrick Mahomes on the biggest stage. All that's great, but you talk to coaches and execs and scouts around the league, and they don't look at him as that sort of top-tier passer. They just don't. And they say, look, they had to run the ball a gazillion times to sort of mask Jalen a little bit, honestly. He averaged, I think, 24 passing attempts a game last year. Year before, passed a lot, and it went poorly. Now he's passing more. It's going poorly. So that's not a knock on him. It's just he has limitations as a passer in the pocket, because if he can stop the run, you can play zone behind it, and he struggles with the zone. Kind of the take I get from, especially from coaches that have either prepared for him or watch him.
So I'm going to say a few things before I revisit the question that I teased going into the break. Just because I like to try to have just conversations where there's not much emotion sometimes when it comes to our players, because I get it. Like, fans want to defend their players when somebody from the national media has something to say, or an executive or a coach of a rival team, and I see the responses on social media. Well, did those executives win the Super Bowl last year? Did those coaches win the Super Bowl last year? Tape is an important thing to know. Why did John and I think that the Commanders would take a step back this year? Roster got really old. And Jaden Daniels, they had a year of tape on him.
And a horseshoe up their backsides last year.
Well, yeah, that's
they got constant. They constantly won. The 2 home games they won in the last 30 seconds.
Right.
The Bears game and the Cowboys game.
But the best defensive minds were able to watch, all right, what did Jaden Daniels do well? Okay, let's take that away from him. We know what the Eagles did well last year. Okay? It was run. To Jalen Hurts' credit, the Steelers game, the NFC Championship game, and the Super Bowl, right? He was spectacular in those games when he had to throw the football. So what did defensive coordinators do this offseason? Well, we know how to slow down the run a little bit by stacking the box, but what can we do in the secondary? What does Jalen Hurts struggle with? And you heard Jeremy Fowler specifically mention zone coverages, right? We're going to see that all year until Jalen Hurts beats it. Be prepared. What you have seen through 6 weeks, despite the 4-2 record, what defenses have done through 6 weeks, be prepared to continue to see that, because Hurts has not played well. Which leads me to my question at 610-632-0975. I love that people wanted to defend Jalen Hurts yesterday. He's Super Bowl MVP. He's our quarterback. I get it. Do people realize that he's not played well this year? That's my question. Do you realize that he's not played well? I'm not saying he stinks.
No, you're not.
I'm not saying cut him. I'm not saying freaking start Tanner McKee. I saw that nonsense.
Well, that's stupid.
Do you realize that Jalen Hurts has struggled this year? Yes or no? 610-632-0975. Let's go to Michael and Yardley. What's up, Coach? Oh, sorry. Hold on one second. What's up, Coach Mike?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
Hi, Mike.
I just wanted to add some nuance to this, and I believe that the play calling and Hurts' play style and his performance is kind of tied together. He is a quarterback. Let's be honest. He is a quarterback who needs some things going well to perform better, and it doesn't help that defenses have an edge because of the predictable play calling. But I want to go back to a play that we all know very well, the interception in the Giants game.
Terrible.
Right before the play, there's a linebacker who's off the ball, who's kind of shaded inside, and right before the play, the linebacker comes to the line of scrimmage. Now, I know as the quarterback, it's zero coverage because we put Smitty in motion beforehand. We know it's man coverage. There's a defender that's deep, a safety. That could have been like a deep hole safety. But with that linebacker coming to the line to blitz right before the snap, now I should know that safety that's deep has Dallas Goedert, who was my tight end, on that same side. As I know that, as a quarterback, my brain processing says I have A.J. Brown on a slant in the middle of the field where I know it's going to be wide open. Why throw the out that I've thrown 2 times already?
And why
not throw it to my big-time receiver who is a big body in the middle of the field? Hang in the pocket and deliver a strike.
Coach, Coach, better yet, why stare down Jahan Dotson? He stares from the minute you watch that video. You know, you could be someone
He's looking left.
He looks left the entire time. He stares him down.
Here's why. He is a very, very rhythm passer, and thanks for the call, Coach Mike, as always. We appreciate it. Very rhythm passer. And there is a knock sometimes where Hurts does not throw it to a spot and allow the player to make it, other than the deep ball.
I think that is
the
legitimate.
deep ball he is spectacular at.
Yeah, he does a great deep ball.
But he's a very rigid timing passer at times.
Okay.
And when things aren't going well,
yeah, but you can't in
flaws.
tight spaces. You can't stare down a receiver.
No, you can't.
Like, I mean, he snaps that ball. He stares him down. You look at that play. You go rewatch that. He never looks off Dotson.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Well, he probably thought something that he saw from the
It was
defense
terrible.
that this is going to be there.
That was terrible.
So, again, do you believe that Jalen Hurts do you realize he's not playing well?
I think everybody does, right?
Well, there's people that don't want to admit it. So are you willing to admit it today? I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Yes, Patullo has a lot of blame for this.
Yes.
But Hurts doesn't get to just sort of walk by.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Take ownership.
All right, coming up next, we'll check some more text messages and more calls because I know people want to chime in on this because I know when it comes to Jalen, it's a hot-button topic. So we'll talk about that coming up next. Also, I'll just ask the question. Do the Eagles need to bring him back? If the conversation is, does it feel like 2023 all over again, what about a player that's available? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Whether you're...
So if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason. But then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that question.
By the way, great question. That is a
told you it was a good one.
That's a capital G question. Wait a minute then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah, dude, seriously. He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That
better not be stolen.
If I don't hear
you.
it, dude, I'd be pissed, Dylan.
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect for me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get?
I don't know. I think we're getting crushed for stuff. But no, I would say
probably because we talked about AJ.
I would say I hope. I would say that I hope. I hope that Bryce Harper is going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is
it's a great question.
Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best player in the world, right? And then
who's supposed to be your best player?
So
who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday. Yes. Did you see the Pharrell commercial? Where he's
yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Schwarber's on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies? Mm-hmm. The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered.
great.
You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah, it's not football.
It's very segmented because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah, but those who do it's a freaking damn good time because it's during the summer and early fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude, is
it's forced.
the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a nice activity, though.
No, I bet those people.
So yes, I do.
But you do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
What?
A couple things before we get into the Eagles version of J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Orders of business. Adam Schefter joins us at 7:55 today. Jeff McClain joins us at 8:25. So during the 8 o'clock hour, we will play Know the Show. Something that we do a lot when it comes to big giveaways. And we have a big one. We have a pair of tickets to give away for the Sixers home opener. It's Friday, October 25th.
A Friday
against the
night,
Hornets.
too. That's good.
Yes, it is good. And the Sixers open up the season on the 22nd. So that means everybody should be available to play on the 25th.
And it's the Hornets, so you can beat them.
So
you got a good chance.
The Sixers have a really cool activity today in this city. It's time to spot the Sixers. Keep your eyes on the Sixers social media handle @Sixers for information that will lead you straight to a 76ers surprise landmark in Philadelphia. And when you find the spot, show up, rep the Sixers, and you could score big giveaways ranging from classic 2001 memorabilia to an autographed hardwood classic edition jersey. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/Sixers. But throughout the 8 o'clock hour, you have great insight from Adam Schefter, great insight from Jeff McClain, and then us knuckleheads talking about other things. We'll play Know the Show at the end of the 8 o'clock hour, and one lucky winner will win a pair of tickets to the Sixers home opener Friday, October 25th. Now, we had a caller on hold that dropped off, and I'm bummed out because I would have loved to have talked to him. It was Jordan in Chester. So, Jordan, if you're still listening, please call back. I saw the comment section that Sean Rodman tells us what they want to talk about.
What's up, Roddy?
And Jordan wanted to ask, why does Josh Allen not get the same criticism that Jalen Hurts gets? Now, on this show,
he does.
Well, yeah, we point out he played poorly against the Falcons.
Yeah. By the way, I called that one on Monday. I said didn't like that game.
But also on this show, it's Philadelphia sports talk, right?
Correct.
So
we're not talking about Josh Allen. We don't come in going, okay, guys.
Unless they're playing the Bills.
What's our Josh Allen topic of the day, guys?
Right. So we talk about Jalen. We talk about the highs and the lows of Philadelphia sports. Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, Eagles, Union, go Supporter Shield. Right? Like, we talk about those things here because this is Philadelphia radio. Now, I will just say this because I do dip my toes in the ESPN radio water sometimes. The reason why Allen will not get the same criticism of Jalen Hurts, or the reason why the perception of who's the better quarterback, I'll lay it out this way. If you're trying to scheme up a way to stop the Eagles, who are you worried about first?
You're not worried about Jalen Hurts.
You're probably worried about Saquon, AJ, Devontae. Even though Hurts is the guy throwing the football.
Saquon first, AJ second, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Saquon first, AJ second, Jalen third.
If you go to the Bills, with all due respect to Khalil Shakir, to Coleman, Keon Coleman,
Jalen first,
James Palmer, James Cook's a hell of a running back.
No, it's
but what
Josh
you're
Allen.
going to do is we have to stop this guy.
You got to stop Josh Allen.
And so that's why when Jeremy Fowler does his coaches and executives poll, a lot of them go, all right, well, who do we fear most? If we're playing against the Bills, we fear Josh Allen more than we fear Jalen Hurts.
Who asked that question? Who asked that question?
We had Jordan and Chester was on hold,
Jordan.
and he dropped off.
Jordan, here's what I'd say to you is, who has the better offensive line? Who has the better wide receivers? Who has the better star running back? There's your answer. That's all you need to know. Who has the best toolbox to work with, and who gets better results?
Now that does not absolve Josh Allen from playing poorly in games.
No,
and he did not. He did not play well
Absolutely.
this past weekend against the Falcons.
It did not look good, but he did not have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith.
Yeah, but that's why. Like, just to be clear, like,
He did not,
this is Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio.
Correct.
B, even though I don't like when people try to take away from Jalen the success that he's had because of the weapons around him,
right?
There's a reason why people go, all right, if we look at the Eagles, Hurts is the third guy we want to stop. If you look at the Bills or the Ravens, right, Lamar's the first guy you want to stop. If you look at the Chiefs, Mahomes is the first guy you want to stop.
Nobody says that about Jalen, and anybody who's objective knows it.
Right. All right. J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
Okay, you started to laugh at this.
J-Lo, Ben Affleck. It's the Eagles and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Is it? Or is it the fan base, the Eagles fan base, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson? Well, it's the Eagles fan base.
Well, let's be honest. J-Lo and Ben Affleck have a lot of issues between themselves, and yet they keep on coming back to one.
They do. It's the Eagles fan base that keeps bringing this up, though. Howie has his number. Look, there is. I would promise you this: if you went to the Eagles locker room, there is no clamoring to say, "Man, you know, we need to get back a guy like C.J. Gardner-Johnson."
I understand that, but do they need to?
No.
All right.
No. Why?
There's a mentality that man brings.
We get you love the guy.
I do,
But-
and I hated when they traded him. Hated it, and
No,
now,
I
and
get
now he's
you.
been released by 18 teams.
No, I understand what you're saying, and there's a reason why he's being released.
Oh, I know.
He is with all due respect, he is mental. He can't control himself. He cannot conduct himself like an adult in the workplace. People don't need that. People don't want that. People don't want to have to deal with that. Professionals who are trying, they don't want to deal with that. It's exhausting.
Well,
he's exhausting.
You know what's not exhausting? Winning.
You know what he did? He was their worst player on defense last year till Thanksgiving, and nobody wants to admit that.
But he wasn't the second. He wasn't after that.
I understand. So what are you saying? It's not Thanksgiving yet. So he's going to come in here and he's going to be great? No, he sucked for 2.5 months last year. He was exploited, by the way.
Sometimes it's
for a
not.
large
Sometimes it's not just about on the field, Johnny.
Well, no. Well, then the off the field's where it's a problem, Andrew. The off the field is where he's
clearly he's released like 18 times.
Well,
Clearly.
then the off the field is where it's a problem. It's not like, well, the off the field, he'll bring good vibes to the team. He'll bring good energy. He doesn't bring good energy.
Well, he brings energy.
He
brings
does
energy.
bring energy.
The energy is true. You might be right that it's not necessarily good energy, but my man brings energy.
As I
the
told
team.
you before, and I told it to you the week after the Super Bowl parade, when he showed up that day with that when he showed up with that vulgar, and it was vulgar sweatshirt, with the Eagles, with the most female VPs. They were already, by the way, I was told they were already done with him. They were already done with him. They were going to find a way to be done with him. And when he showed up with that, they were like, are you kidding me? Like seriously? First of all, you got little kids there. It's parade day. You got family.
Oh, it's horrible.
You got parents. You got kids, players. And players have little kids. So you have little kids around, and this grown man is walking around with that, licks my whatever. And you're doing that. You don't know how to conduct yourself. You're not an adult. And they can't deal with it. And by the way, now you're seeing other franchises. They don't want to deal with it. They can't. So no, the Eagles fan base can't give them up. The Eagles can.
Can I ask you guys a question? What's
Yes.
up, real quick, about the Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen discourse we just had?
Yeah.
Anything racial there?
No.
Racial?
I'm just wondering because somebody's asking.
Is Josh Allen the reigning MVP in the NFL?
Yeah.
I think he is.
That has nothing to do
I've just
with
been told that the most racist thing he's ever heard.
The most racist thing he's ever heard? What?
I'm really confused.
Yeah, just let that ride. That's not a real thing.
All right. Yeah. First name's Bill. Maybe it's Bill Colarulo. I don't know.
All right.
I just making sure.
Gosh.
Just making sure.
Wow, that's great.
All right, coming up next, our man Adam Schefter for his Wednesday hit. Know the show the entire 8 o'clock hour for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Sixers home opener. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An injury report to watch. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to get ready for their matchup with the Vikings this Sunday, a 1 p.m. game up in Minnesota, and we're going to get our first injury report of the week today. The Eagles had a lot of banged-up players in last week's game against the Giants, and that's going to be something to watch as they prepare for the Vikings. They've also now lost 2 straight and have struggled to run the ball all year. Kevin Petullo was asked about increasing the amount of runs in the offense.
I would like to increase it, obviously. And some of that we talked about a week ago is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
We'll hear what Nick Sirianni thinks about that. He will meet with the media coming up today at 12:10. Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they're going to host the Winnipeg Jets. The Sixers will continue their preseason on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to discuss the Phillies season and the offseason plans. We'll talk to Adam Schefter of ESPN coming up next. Jeff McClain at 8:25, Scott Lauber at 9:25. This update is brought to you by Bradford White Water Heaters. When you need a new water heater, choose one that's built to be the best. Choose Bradford White. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Now, it's a great problem that they're 4-0. Like, you're 4-0. You should be happy as fans. We talked about this yesterday. But, yes, they are still trying to find themselves. They are still trying to figure out what this offense should look like. And the reason I get frustrated by this A.J. Brown conversation is because I do think it distracts from what the bigger issue is, which is this offensive line hasn't been good enough. This rushing attack hasn't been good enough. As much as I like Jalen Hurts, I don't think he has been good enough if your goal is to win another Super Bowl. The goal is not to start the season 4-0. The goal is to win a Super Bowl, and I think this team does need to improve offensively for that to happen. And quite frankly, I think that they will. They're too talented not to, but like you've been saying all offseason, AD, now's the time to start. Week 5 is when you should really start to identify what this offense is going forward. I keep hearing from a lot of people, oh, this is the 2023 offense all over again. Kevin Petullo, he's the next Brian Johnson. Things are going to be ugly. Now, the crazy thing is I went back and just looked at that 2023 season through the first 4 games, and my mind was blown. Now, I know things started to go south at the end of that season. A lot of it was defensively related. A lot of it was because they just couldn't figure out how to stop the blitz. But at least through the first 4 games, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'd kill for that offense right now. Listen to these numbers through the first 4 games of 2023 that everybody wants to compare this team to. They were averaging close to 400 yards of offense per game in those first 4. 392. They had close to 30 points a game at 29.5. Their passing offense was averaging over 225 yards. They were averaging 7 yards per pass attempt. Their rushing attack, 165 yards a game and a 4.7 yard per carry. They only had 11 sacks against, 4 turnovers. You compare that to what this team's doing, they're only averaging 252 yards. That's less than 150 yards from what you were doing in 2023. I mean, it really is crazy because everyone makes the comparison, but at least through the first 4 weeks, the 2023 offense was blowing this offense out of the water.
Well, first of all, the 23 and 2025 Eagles are nothing alike. You just rattled off the offensive numbers, but look at the defensive side of the ball. They did not have Vic Fangio. They had Sean Desai, they had Matt Patricia, and they had a very old and slow defense that was arguably the worst in football. May have been the worst in football. The season sort of run together for me. But they also have a younger, athletic defense that continues to get better. Their assignment sound, they're fundamentally sound, and I believe what you're seeing now is going to be completely evolved to, you get to December or January, that defense is going to be firing on all cylinders. The offense is talented enough that they're going to figure it out. In my opinion, they're going to figure it out. And they're a better football team. So stop with the 2023, 2025 comparisons. This team is nothing alike.
I don't think they even compare, to be completely honest with you, because The one thing that I could remember very well was coming on the show and saying, wow, if such and such would have gone wrong, they would have lost that game. And most of it was defensively that season. That things could have been worse early on in that season, but everything kind of came to fruition anyways after they were 10-1 and things went downhill. It's not the same team. This is growing pains right now. That's the understanding you have to have. They gave us the definition of that last year. Saquon Barkley, I could remember his words perfectly. We're using these first 4 games as a preseason.
Yep.
Okay? So now, to me, is the grading time. You've gotten through those first 4 games. Now show up and do your jobs.
And part of the reason I wanted to do this exercise, where I read to people how good the offense was through the first 4 games, is because I want people to understand it is not how you start. It is how you finish. And the fact that offense...
Live here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, the Fanatic, WPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. And joining us now, as he does at this time each and every Wednesday, does a tremendous job, as we know, covering the NFL, gets all the insight. And, man, Philadelphia is always the center of the universe when it comes to sports. From ESPN, our man Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning. How are we doing today?
Andrew, John, good morning to you. How are we doing?
I mean,
it's fun.
It's sure. It's been dramatic. We have not been short on content. Sports haven't been fun, but content we've had plenty of it. And yesterday we had Jeremy Fowler on, and he gave us a lot of insight on some of the things going on with the Eagles right now. And he told us that he spoke to a player after the loss to the Giants, so 2 straight losses, that it feels like 2023. That's what a player told him. So I'll ask you, have you gotten a sense from the people that you speak with and around the league that there's already questioning sort of the direction that the Eagles are going in right now?
Questioning the direction they're going in what sense? Like, I don't know what that means.
Does it feel like 2023? Does it feel like that there's not a collapse because it's only 6 weeks into the season, but that they're not heading toward another Super Bowl performance or another run through the NFC, just like we noticed in 2023?
What was the record of 23 down the stretch?
They were 10-1, and then they finished what? 1-6. 1-6.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is they still have won. Again, there are absolutely issues. We know all is not right. We know there are things to correct. We know this team has looked off. They're not fun. They've still won the 20 of 22 games. They're still 4-2 this year. Like, I understand that they've got issues, and I think last year they were 2-2 and got everything straightened out before making the run they did. And this team has not looked like last year, and this team has looked off, and this team does have corrections to make. But I just think that we're probably getting a little bit more worked up than we should be at this point in time. Like, there's still 11 games to go. There's still a lot of talent on the roster. Yes, there are things to figure out. I still think they're winning the division. It'd be a surprise if they didn't. I still think that they're going to make noise in the playoffs, but they're not going to make a lot of noise if they're playing the way they are. And yeah, the offense has been predictable. The run game's been off. The offensive line's been banged up. The defense has got holes. There are real things to fix.
Listen to what you just rattled off, though. Adam, we're talking about the Super Bowl champions. And you just rattled off a laundry list that maybe if you were doing a hit with the Cleveland Browns, I could understand it. We're talking about the Super Bowl champs who we all agreed in the summer were, if not the best roster in the NFL, one of them. And this team's playing like this. This is completely unacceptable.
Oh, well, unacceptable would be too strong a word, John. Unacceptable would be...
What would be your word?
Jets record at this point. Disappointing. Frustrating.
Okay.
Underachieving. That's me.
It's bad. I mean, it's bad when your eyeballs are telling you. I mean, I watch NFL Live, as often as I can, and I watch Dan Orlovsky just picking it apart and just saying this offense it's terrible. I mean, I've heard the words. It's terrible. They're not, and nothing's getting fixed. It's week 7. We're going into week 7, and nothing is getting fixed. The same things Danny was saying week 4, week 5, week 6. It's the same stuff, and it's not getting fixed. And I think that's what's part of the frustration.
Yeah, well, listen, it has been the same thing, and it may be that that's who they are. They're a 4-2 team that's flawed. It's very possible that's who they are. I mean, usually that's how things go. Now, again, last year they got some things figured out, got it corrected, and were able to go on to have the postseason success that they did. That might happen, John. That might happen.
When you say usually
right?
that's how things go, what do you mean usually that's how things go?
More often than not, teams that have problems early in the year, I don't know necessarily that they solve all those problems. And usually those problems stick with a team. Again, last year, Philly got things corrected when they were 2-2, and they took off. More often than not, teams don't take off. The great ones do.
Okay.
And that's the challenge for this team. If they're a great team, they'll figure it out. They'll get it corrected, and they'll take off. And if they're not, then we'll continue to have the conversations like this all during the season into the off season as they make changes.
Now, unfortunately for the Eagles, one of their better players at this stage of the season because of Nolan Smith's injury was Zadarius Smith, and he said, I'm out. I'm retiring. Have you heard more on the decision by Zadarius Smith to retire from the sport of football?
Yeah, I don't know what went into that, but, listen, you got to be fully in to play this sport at a high level, and clearly he just had enough at that point in time. I don't know why he decided to walk. The guy that signed late, did he not go to training camp because he didn't want to play, and then he talked himself into playing, and then he found out, you know what, I don't want to do this. Like, it takes a lot to play the sport, and if you're not fully in, it's hard to do it.
When I'm looking at the NFC, top to bottom, I mean, it's pretty incredible right now when we're talking about you got to go to the 13th team in the conference to find a losing record. That's really, really deep right now. Are you believing that we're going to start to see some teams shake out and separate themselves from the pack? Or do you think that maybe there's some teams that you're in your mind already have?
But it feels like this year, it feels like there are more teams that have a chance than in recent years. Like, I mean, you could make the argument for the Eagles have been flawed. You're going to laugh when I say that. Like, our last memory of the Giants, they look like a tough team on Thursday night. Are they going to be good enough to string together some wins for a playoff push, which I never would have imagined. But we know what a talented young quarterback can do and the juice he can bring to a franchise. And Jackson Dart seems like he's done that with Cam Scatterbull. Like, those two guys together, it feels like they've single-handedly turned around the feeling and perception around that entire franchise. Two rookies, which is incredible to me. The North has Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Chicago, like four teams right now that you say, okay, I could see any one of them making a playoff run. The South, I'm looking at, Tampa and Atlanta. The West has got the Rams. 49ers are decimated, but have been good. Seahawks are better than people. Like, there's a lot of good teams. How that's going to shake out, we'll see over the next 11 weeks or so.
Shefty, it's crazy. We blinked and we're like 2 weeks away from the NFL trade deadline, which is insane. Tuesday, November 4th, we're getting closer. We know that the Eagles decided to sort of cut bait with some players this past offseason because they have to think about players down the road who they're going to pay, like a Jalen Carter. Is there wiggle room for the Eagles to make an aggressive trade? Do you believe Howie will make it? And when I say aggressive trade, big name player for the edge position or a cornerback, or do you think Howie has to kind of stay status quo because he's got to think about who he's paying down the road?
No, I think he'll make a trade before the deadline, maybe two. Like, it just depends on the opportunities that present themselves. But that's what he does. He's always on the phone with teams, always making calls. I expect that he'll be doing that again, and that's just what they do. I think he'll make a move.
Do you believe it's going to be an active trade deadline across the league? With names.
Yeah. Well, if you go back and look, 2015, in the month of October leading up to the trade deadline, there were 4 total trades. 4. 2 of the last 3 years, in the month of October leading into the trade deadline, there were 18 trades. So clearly, the amount of trades has increased dramatically. There's been a huge uptick in activity. Teams have had success doing it, and other teams have tried to duplicate it and copy it. And I wasn't expecting much last week, and then all of a sudden there were 3 trades. I thought, okay, well, here we go. And then we didn't get anything yesterday at all. So that's a little surprising. So there have been 3 trades in the month of October. I still think in the next 20 days, bless you, I still think in the next 20 days that we'll get 10 to 12 more trades. I still think that. We'll finish up with 15. That's my guess. But I was surprised that there were none yesterday, to be perfectly frank.
Please bless whoever's in the car from us as well. So I got to ask, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, again, out in the market. We had some fun with it, talking about J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Could the Eagles and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson get together for a third time? I don't believe that will be the case. But I'll ask you, what happened? He signs with the Ravens, and it wasn't even a week. He's gone again.
Well, the Ravens traded for a safety after they signed him. And I think he had some ideas that he would be playing sooner, but they go out and add another safety. So you go and add another safety, there's one of your spots. So they had conversations and wound up talking about his release, and both sides decided that it'd be better to do it that way. You know, again, Chauncey's been a great player, talented player. I think he wants things done a certain way, and not everybody can do that. And so Baltimore was not going to be able to offer the opportunity it thought it was a week ago when it signed him, and they released him. He's a free agent again.
At what point does the league just not continue to sign him? Which is a shame, because he is a talented player, to your point, but I mean, bounces around all over the place.
Well, I think we've already seen that happen. I mean, Houston released him, and it took him a few weeks to catch on to another team, and now that team has released him, and now he's looking for another team, and maybe that team will come up today. But, you know, all you have to do is just watch what's going on, and I think you could draw some of your own conclusions at that point in time.
Don't read Philadelphia Eagles Twitter, because the fan base wants to send a car for him. They're all over it. They're like, bring him back for a third time.
Yeah, I don't think that's. Listen, I understand that they do. He's a very popular player and made a lot of plays for the franchise, but I just don't expect that to happen.
Shefty, we appreciate the time as always,
Thanks,
man.
Adam.
Hey, I do have some breaking news for you guys.
Oh, I love that.
What we got?
I had my NBA draft last night, and I grabbed 2 Sixers and almost had a third.
Okay, no,
2
wait.
Sixers.
Oh, you grabbed Tyrese Maxey.
That's a lock. And VJ Edgecombe stash.
Bingo. Those are the 2 guys I drafted.
That's excellent.
That's good work by you.
I took Maxey with my first round draft pick, the 9th overall selection.
Okay.
Ahead of some other players. And I'm a huge Maxey supporter. I love that guy's energy, the way he carries himself, how much he cares about the game. And I could have gone with, I took him ahead of guys like Devin Booker and Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, like a lot of players. But I believe in our guy Tyrese, and then I took Edgecombe later. I was going to take Joel Embiid. He went 2 picks before me in like the 3rd or 4th round.
Wow.
4th round. He was sitting there. I'm like, I'm not going to pick him. I was going to take him at 51, and I think he went like 48.
Oh, that's about you had him on the Shefty big board. Huh?
That's around the amount of games he'll probably play, though. 51. So you got to be careful.
That's okay.
You got to be careful with that.
Yeah. Well, that's why he went where he did. I mean, that's why he went.
That's great. That's great. So we'll have a Sixers little. We can get the Sixers connected with this. Get you.
I can tell you this. I can tell you, I will be watching every minute of my guy Maxey this year at Edgecombe. So I'm all in.
Well, season tips off a week from now, and then you got the home opener against the Hornets on the 25th. So we're looking forward to it. Shefty, we appreciate
Adam.
the time as always. Thank you for that breaking news. We wanted that. So thank you so much. That's a storyline that we will follow all season with you.
And by the way, that is one of the biggest developments in the morning, and you should be tracking it all year long. And let's see how it shakes out.
You're the man, Shefty. We appreciate the time. We'll talk to you next week.
There you go, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline. Big Maxey guy. Our
Yes.
guy Maxey, he says. I love it. By the way, the Chauncey Garner-Johnson tweet from yesterday. I just want to take a moment to thank all the teams I've been a part of, coaches, teammates, and everyone who supported me along the way. Every experience has helped me grow both on and off the field. I'm truly grateful for all the opportunities and memories. Football has always been a big part of who I am, and my passion for the game is still strong. I'm excited to keep working, improving, and continuing to play the sport I love. Look, he's a talented player, but there's a reason why he keeps bouncing around, man. It's a shame.
Because you can't trust him.
All right, coming up next, today's headlines with Connor Thomas. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
It's been less than, I don't want to say impressive, but like it leaves you wanting more. It leaves you wanting more of the offense. It leaves you with the defense saying, yeah, they're not really getting to the quarterback. I would have to look at it and say, this is actually the best case scenario for where the Eagles are. The Eagles could possibly start the season. They haven't lost the game, and the players, the coaches, the fans, I don't think there's anybody that's associated with the Eagles right now that feels like they're playing great football. And they don't think that they don't have to play better if they're going to win another Super Bowl. So guess what? They're not satisfied. I'm not satisfied as a fan. The coaches sure as hell aren't satisfied, offensively and defensively. And the players can't be satisfied as well. And they're 4-0. And by the way, they're the best team in the NFL. And I don't think it's particularly close. So you legit get pleasure out of watching the Mets fall apart at the end of the season again?
I mean, doesn't everybody? I think it's funny. It's something to laugh about. But, I mean, when you play in the NL East for 10 years, and you got to listen to Mets fans, for that whole time. And now in horse racing up at Saratoga, they still like to run their mouths. So it still brings me joy to laugh at them.
Yeah, Jason, those times looking back where it's not often the Mets and the Phillies are good at the same time, right? And you experienced a little bit of that in the early portion. And those fans come down and they invade Citizens Bank Park, and they are so loud and obnoxious. And that was the beginning. We hadn't seen championship baseball in Philly since the 80s. And you guys ushered that back in. Just like, what a time to be alive, man. When you think about those days, because you came to Philly, you hadn't become the Jason Worth that we know right now. What's it like when you think about those days?
Yeah, well, look, I had a good start in LA my first year, and then I got hit in the wrist my first game of spring training in 2005, and didn't play, had surgery, didn't play all of 2006, and then I come to Philly in 2007, and I'm literally barely make the team. And it took Shane Victorino and
Aaron Rowan.
No, God, I'm drawing a blank. Took two guys to get hurt on the trade deadline for me to even get a chance to play. And then, Charlie Still was a little apprehensive to get me in there, but I played so good in August of 2007 when we really started our first run, and that was kind of my when I got a chance to play and coming out, and that's when we started to run down the Mets. So there was that big series at home, the 4-game series where we swept them, and that's when, for me, that's when Philly really came back alive with baseball, and it was that team that ultimately the next year won the World Series and ran down the Mets 2 years in a row. So that's where the whole kind of rivalry started. But you're right, they would come down, they'd invade Citizens Park, they're obnoxious. You go up there and you play 12 games a year up there, and you got to listen to them run their mouths. So it was sweet to be a Philly back in those days, and I'm proud of what we accomplished. And man, we had good teams, and here we are again with my guys Trey and Bryce are playing in Philly now. And they're kind of
97.5 The Fanatic. Shout out to our man Adam Schefter as always for joining us. We have Jeff McClain coming up at 8:25 as there's been a lot of Eagles stuff to get into. After our conversation with Jeremy Fowler yesterday, he spoke to a player in the locker room after the loss to the Giants saying, yeah, it feels like 2023. That's got to change ASAP, and hopefully this 10-day mini bye helps that out. man, I'd be terrified if Quinyon Mitchell does not play on Sunday. I'm just saying.
I'm waiting for that injury report today, and I'm telling you, if he's not playing Sunday,
it's not great. Wentz or McCarthy.
Here's the only thing, though, is that line hasn't moved. I think they may know something because the Eagles are favored on the road.
Dude, I really hope he plays.
They may know something because that line hasn't moved.
I can't go Jackson and Ringo against Jefferson and Addison.
No,
All right. Can't do that. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And it's brought to us by the Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Now, we mentioned it shortly earlier in the episode or in the show, but the episode. I'm used to the podcast talk at this point. But the Dodgers have taken a 2-0 lead in the NLCS. Here's how last night's game ended.
Yamamoto is an out away from a complete game gem. Here he comes, the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. And Yoshi Yamamoto with his crown jewel as a Dodger.
A complete game out of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, shutting down the Brewers. They win 5-1. The Dodgers do. They're now up 2-0 in your series. Your reactions?
First pitch home run.
Yeah.
It was sort of like Ranger in the Dodger game.
But he
came
that's
in
the
the
meta.
third. You know?
But even better. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not surprised, right? I said Dodgers in 4. If anything, it's a gentleman's sweep. When I made my bet back in August, I was kind of thinking that the Brewers would face either the Phillies or the Dodgers in the first round. They faced the Cubs, and they won. Good for them. And now they're playing, the Dodgers.
You're going to be wearing that hat again if you're not careful.
Why?
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Brewers aren't coming back.
No, that series is over.
No, my hat bet is now the Ravens win the division. What else we got?
We've got something. We're going to Russia, boys, because
We're going to Russia?
The KHL had something very interesting happen. Now, if you're not familiar with the KHL, it's the Russian Professional Hockey League. And they had a call in a recent game where a puck went through a hole in the side of the netting and into the goal. So no goal, but it was reviewed, and they tried to keep it a goal on the ice. So what did they do to that referee? They banned him for life for missing that call. Do we need referees, officials, umpires banned for life in North American professional sports?
Yes, absolutely. Like Angel Hernandez, that should have happened years ago. But hold on, I'm more intrigued by the
Eric Gregg should have happened to him after his
the Levon Hernandez. Yeah,
1997 playoff performance.
So what? They wanted it to be a goal?
No. He got the call wrong. He said the goal stands, and they banned him for life after.
Did he get to? Did he get to?
He got it. It stands after review.
Did he get to look at the video review?
I'm not sure.
Because Vlad may have said.
No, if he got to
need this.
If he got to look at the video review and he got it wrong, and it was that, then he should be. I have no problem with that.
I got the Snowcaps at -1.5. I don't know what their team names are out there in the KHL.
You know where I stand on officiating. I am all in favor of ban for life officials.
If you make the call incorrect in real time, no, that's not banning worthy.
But if you get to review
and you make an egregious error like that, you're done.
I feel like we see that weekly in the NFL.
Do either one of you know who Leon Stickle is?
No.
The offsides.
The Flyers lost a Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 1980 because Leon Stickle missed an offside call.
Yeah.
That would have a game that went to overtime. The Flyers lost in overtime. Would never have gone to overtime. Flyers win the game and would have win Game 7 back in Philly in 80.
Come on, Connie Pucks.
And
you don't know Leon Stickle?
So I'm just saying is that man
16 years before I was born, or 14?
Is terrible.
Same.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Never
you gotta know
forget.
your Philadelphia history.
Listen, man, I don't recognize officiating. All right, we'll round out with our replay.
If you believe this feels like 2023, when did you start feeling it?
So I'm not quite there. I'm not as far down the road as you guys are. I'm not saying it doesn't feel like 2023, but I'm not hitting the complete panic button yet for 2 reasons. One, the timing of when this is happening, right? You learn from past experiences. And this Eagles brass and the leaders on offense largely were here for 2023. And at least we've reached this point of it feeling like this way sooner than when we did in that season. The one other thing, Jeremy Fowler said he talked to somebody after that Broncos game, or after the Giants game, about it feeling like 2023. I guarantee you that was somebody on the offense. because nobody on the defense was here in 2023. Right?
That's the truth. So Jordan Davis was.
But they were young players.
No, you're right. You're right. It has to be an offensive player.
And I guarantee it's somebody on the offensive line. And that brings up a point of the defense is different than what it was in 2023. The injuries last week did not help them, but I think the defense will keep them more afloat than they did that season.
How many games are you going to win 20-17?
Well, it still needs to be fixed.
You know what I mean?
There's different DNA here than there was
Here's
that
my
season.
problem, though. You're not wrong that the defense is different and it's better and all that kind of stuff. But here's the deal. This is what I will continuously point out, and I've been pointing it out for 6 weeks now. They could be the 85 Bears. If they are going 3 and out on 4 or 5 straight drives, they're going to be gassed.
Oh, man.
And let's not act like there's a lot of depth on the defense.
67 snaps, 70 snaps last 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not saying
That's
why they're
pathetic.
going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying why it's not a collapse like that.
But again, it could be 10-10 at halftime, and if the Eagles go 3 and out every drive in the second half like they've been doing, the defense at some point is just going to give up points because they can't breathe.
Yeah, that's undeniable. I'm just saying why it won't be the complete collapse of 23.
All right, well, coming up next, as Jeff McClain heard 2023 conversation happening in the locker room, he joins us next. It is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Back to work for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to gear up for their matchup with the Minnesota Vikings in Week 7, 1 p.m. this Sunday from Minneapolis, and we'll get our first injury report of the week today. And the Eagles had some hurt players in last week's game against the Giants, so it's something to keep an eye on for sure. They've also now lost 2 straight and have struggled to run the ball all year, so Kevin Patullo talked about implementing more running plays in the offense yesterday.
I would like to increase it, obviously, and some of that, like we talked about a week ago, is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
Head coach Nick Sirianni will meet with media today at 12:10. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets. Sixers continue their preseason action on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to talk about the Phillies season and the offseason plans. Jeff McClain of the Inquirer joins us coming up next for the latest on the Birds. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your trained and certified experts for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
So if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies, because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason, but then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that question.
By the way, great question. That is a
told you it was a good one.
That's a capital G question. Wait a minute, then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah, dude, seriously. He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That
better not be stolen.
If I don't hear
you.
dude, I'll be pissed,
to you.
Dylan.
There, seriously.
By the way, Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect from me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get?
I don't know. I think we're getting crushed for stuff. But no, I would say
probably because we talked about AJ.
I would
Brown
say
for
I
too
hope.
much.
I would say that I hope. I hope that Bryce Harper is going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is it's a great question. Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best player in the world, right? And then
who's supposed to be your best player? So who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday. Yes. Did you see the Pharrell commercial? Where he's
yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies?
Schwarberian?
Schwarber. And then, and you know what else they highlighted for the
Schwarber's
Phillies?
on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Mm-hmm.
The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Well, honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered.
Great.
You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah, it's not football.
It's very segmented because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah, but those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time because it's during the summer and early fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying to you
it's
is
forced.
the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a nice activity, though.
No, I bet those people.
So yes, I do.
But you do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
What?
Yeah.
You're tailgating it. You're taking a child to the game.
I'm not getting whacked. We're gonna eat hoagies together.
That's not a tailgate.
That's exactly what it is. Tailgating does not mean getting sloshed.
No, I'm talking about a tailgate means there's a full spread, there's beer, there's
I'll
music.
have a pop. I'll have our chairs. We'll put a little table out so you can eat a sandwich. Yeah, I'm tailgating today.
But then we have different definitions of tailgate. I'm talking a tailgate is like an Eagles tailgate, where there's people putting out a table with a tablecloth, and there's food, and there's music, and there's beer, and there's all that stuff. I'm not talking about people eating out of the trunk of their car like it's one step up from homelessness.
I count that as tailgating.
Well, okay, well, we have different.
Because you're hanging out before the game.
Think of my definition of tailgating.
Sure.
Okay, the one that's a little more elaborate.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, do you do that?
I did last year.
You did do that?
Yeah, and I had way too much fun before even going.
Just keep a close ear on the show, and at the end of the hour, we will ask a Know the Show question for your chance to win a pair of tickets for the Sixers home opener, which is Friday, October 25th. Joining us.
And the whole thing with Joel Embiid's got us all smiling.
Yeah, look, he looked great yesterday.
You never know.
I loved seeing a smile on Joel Embiid's face. Made me really happy. Joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline, where everyday business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. His work on the Inquirer, it's incredible. Experience the new look of Inquirer Sports, where fans can read, watch, listen to their favorite reporters and columnists. Go to inquirer.com/sports. I think the only man in the history of the universe to have asked a question where Nick Sirianni could only answer with one word.
It was shocking.
Jeff McClain joins us. Jeff, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Hey, guys. Typically, I don't like to ask questions where there's only one word answer, but I think in this case,
I know you don't, and it's why you're so good at your job, but it was like Nick Sirianni, of all people, I don't think I've ever heard him give an answer that did not have at least 50 words in it.
Well, there was a pause, and then there was a one-word answer, and I already clipped it, Jeff, for my class at Temple in the spring. So I already, because I love to play that for them little tips like that. And I thought that was a great line of questioning.
In case people are wondering, Jeff asked if there's any chance the play calling duties can be handed over. Now, we read your tweet while you explained why you asked the question, but I would like you to give our listening audience a chance just to explain yourself why you asked that specific question for Nick Sirianni on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, I asked, he talked about, there being, during this mini buy, he had talked about trying to find solutions, and I asked, well, if in terms of finding solutions, was one of them changing the play calling in any way? And I say in any way because it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to take all of play calling away from Kevin Patullo and hand it to me or hand it to the quarterback coach or whatever. Because previously, in 2023, they kind of started the process of like stripping Sean Desai, then defensive coordinator, of his play calling duties by just kind of taking third down away from him, for instance, and that involves kind of like game planning, and essentially to some degree, the calling that had happened during the course of the game And, I've seen kind of before, Doug Peterson, for instance, kind of gave some of his play calling to then, I think it was his pass game coordinator, Press Taylor. So it's not always just one person. It can be collective to some degree, which I don't think that's anywhere near ideal. And then, of course, in 2021, Nick had, given his play calling that he had, I guess, through the first 7 or 8 games of the season to then offensive coordinator Shane Steichen. Of course, we all know what happened from that point forward. So this isn't unprecedented for Nick to do something like this, and that's why I felt it was necessary to ask it. I'm not saying in no way, shape, or form that I think that Kevin should be stripped of it. That's not my job. My job is to get answers, but to ask pertinent questions. And I felt in that case it did, considering how he has, I think it's fair to say, struggled. And I'm not putting all the blame on the offense.
Sure.
Anywhere near at the foot, at his feet. It is collective. I agree with what Nick Sirianni says, and certainly as the offensive coordinator, as the head coach, and of course Jalen Hurts. When you look at the quarterback, they're probably the 3 biggest that have the large pieces of pies. And when it comes to responsibility, thus they're going to receive more criticism when things aren't going well, and they're going to receive more praise when things are going well. So, but that's kind of just the thought process I had when asking that question.
When you look at how the defense goes about their work, and you look at how the offense goes about their work, is it a much different approach? A much different approach from top down, like how they communicate, how they practice, how they work, how they go about their business day, or as a organization, is it pretty similar?
Well, if we're talking just about the coaching staffs, yeah, it's a little different because Nick doesn't really have much say over defense. I mean, he's certainly involved. He's head coach. He can decide what Vic does, but he pretty much gives Vic almost complete autonomy over that unit. Whereas the offense, right, that's where Nick, that's his kind of forte. That's his side of the ball. So he's very much involved in that. And certainly with Kevin, they have this long-standing relationship of work and partnership in terms of working together. So, yeah, I'd say there's probably more, and I think that's generally how it goes for most teams, because the quarterback's coach is involved typically. Then now you have pass game coordinators. Like there's definitely more people that are involved. The coaches involved in game planning and everything that is involved in that. Defense, everyone is involved, but I think especially with the Eagles, you have a figurehead. Not figurehead. You have a leader in Vic Fangio that just kind of has taken the horns by that, and that's it.
Jeff, last time we had you on, it was after the first loss of the season to the Denver Broncos. This is our first chance talking to you after losing to the Giants. Is the 2023 feeling starting to spread in the locker room?
By 2023 feeling, I guess that kind of refers to what I had reported then about just being the most miserable team, and how that kind of affected the obviously what they were doing. No, I don't think so. From what I gathered, and I did talk about this in my podcast. I felt like after the loss to the Broncos in that home locker room at the Link, it did feel like someone had been shot, and I felt like, well, that was odd to some extent because it was just 4-1 and it was a bad loss. I think that might have had a little bit to do with the fact that they just hadn't been losing much, and they hadn't lost in a calendar year with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, at least in a game that he finished. So I think that was, but it also might have been a kind of like a collective, like coming to grips with like, oh, okay, those first 4 games where everyone was telling us that we weren't really as good as the record indicated. Maybe we aren't close to that, and I think maybe that had kind of spilled over to the week of practice, the short week of practice, and that's why part of the reason why they didn't perform in New York.
Are you more surprised that the offense has struggled with being able to run the ball, or that the offense has struggled to be able to throw the football effectively and sustain a passing attack throughout the course of 4 quarters?
Well, probably neither, because I guess we were talking about this all season. Like, my first question to Saquon Barkley when he signed his contract extension was, are you prepared for defenses to be kind of keyed on trying to stop you? And what are you going to do to counter that? I mean, now that's not all anywhere near all on him, and that's probably a better question for the coaches, which I'd ask as well. But the point being that, like, I've been around enough, this is what happened to the Eagles in 2022. They're going to take away what they did well and going to the Super Bowl there, and they're going to, take away what they did well and winning the Super Bowl. And I just knew that defenses weren't going to allow Saquon to run again for 2,000 yards. And again, everything the Eagles did last year, for the most part, was built off of that. And it's easier. It's easier to stop one guy than it is an offense, a pass offense that has multiple people. Yeah, there's more involved with it than just the one running back. You have all the blockers and stuff like that. But I just felt like that was going to be very hard for them. But the pass game, the struggles there don't surprise me because, again, we've seen this now since Jalen Hurts has been the quarterback. And they've just repeatedly have done this. Like, they don't want to have this pass-heavy offense with Jalen. You don't want to put too much on his shoulder. He's a very good quarterback. He's one of the best in the league. He's won a Super Bowl. We're not denying him any of that. But as time has showed, if you look at the numbers, when Jalen is asked to drop back a certain percent of the pass plays, that's when the sacks increase. That's when the turnovers increase. And that's what we've seen these last two games.
Jeff, last year, the Week 5 bye, the story comes out that the offensive lineman went to Nick Sirianni. They changed the offensive approach. They also benefited, obviously, from a week of not playing football because they were banged up. They needed to get healthy after that Buccaneers game. I'll ask you, what do you believe will be the story coming out of this mini-bye?
I guess wait and see. I think one of the things with that narrative, too, is like Nick and them, they were going in that direction. I mean, it helped that Lanning and Lane talked to them, but that was just kind of like, it's taken on a life of its own sort of thing. But and it is important, and I'm not denying that part of the history of what changed the 2024 season. But, I'm sure wherever direction they're going to end up going, and I think it's more on the offensive side that you'll probably see changes to some extent. Defensively, I just felt like that game, with the fact that Jalen Carter, they didn't know up until game time he wasn't going to play. Now, that doesn't excuse the performance, but and then you lose Quinyon Mitchell, and you're already kind of down Nolan Smith, et cetera. Again, I'm not excusing that performance because there are areas in that side of the ball that are worrisome, especially at cornerback. But on offense, I think they need to do a little more in terms of changes, and I think, yeah, they got to get the run game going. They have to find some way to get that going, and I feel like to do that, they got to maybe do a little bit more of what they used to do, which is under center, and then build play action off that. And we've seen those numbers down in both those regards. The problem with the under center game sometimes is they get too predictable sometimes, and that's what Lane Johnson had talked about after the Giants game. So they just have to be more cognizant of not tipping off tendencies to defenses. And there's a lot that goes into that, and I'm not saying this is going to happen and all of a sudden the offense is going to return look like it did last year or even the year before. I don't know. They have a tough defense this Sunday. And a good defensive coordinator. It could be tough sledding again for this team. It could take a while. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen because we've seen it happen before. They deserve the benefit of the doubt, and they're still 4-2. And if you look around the rest of the league, there are a lot of teams that are still in search of identity or search of who they are, and whatever. But I do feel like things are definitely not close to what they were even when they were 2-2 last year.
Jeff, we appreciate the time as always, man. Keep up the great work. Keep up asking Nick Sirianni the tough questions. We appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Jeff.
And we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
There he is, our man Jeff McClain on the Comcast Biz Hotline. All right, coming up next.
He doesn't think they're as bad today as they were a year ago at 2-2.
Which is good.
That's good.
I have a question for you guys about patience. Not us, though. All right? Also, coming up next, I sent a very cryptic text to Connor and John last.
Yeah, I've been baffled by this all
Worse than A.J. Brown.
Yeah, seriously, I thought that.
They have no idea where I'm taking this next segment, but all I can tell you right now is it's about the Eagles, and we'll either get answers soon, or it could be a major letdown. I'll explain coming up next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philadelphia.
if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies, because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like, Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason, but then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that
by
question.
the way, great question. That is a
Told you it was a good one.
That's a capital
Told you it was a
G
good one.
question. Wait a minute then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah,
2
dude,
to
seriously.
6.
He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That's if
That
that's
better
all.
not be
If
stolen.
I
I
don't
swear
hear
to you.
it, dude, I'd be
swear to
pissed,
you.
Dylan.
There, seriously.
By
the
way,
way,
Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect from me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get?
I don't know.
for?
I think we're getting crushed for
What did I
stuff.
get
But
booed
no,
for?
I would say.
Probably because we talked about AJ
I would
Brown
say
for
I
too
hope.
much.
I would say that I hope. I hope that Bryce Harper's going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's
Okay.
Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is
Okay. It's a great question.
Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best
Yeah.
player in the world, right? And then
Who's supposed to be your best player?
So
who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday.
Yes.
Did you see the Pharrell commercial where he's?
Oh yeah, yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the
Schwarber's
Phillies?
on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Mm-hmm.
The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's
So-
a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered. You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
not football.
It's very because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah, but those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time
No, I
because
bet
it's during the summer and early
I get it.
fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude,
think
is
it's forced.
the amount of people because the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a
Like,
nice
different
activity,
thing.
though.
No,
like
I
it.
bet
Yes.
those people. Are
So
having a
yes,
good time.
I do.
But you do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
Question to ask you guys from the very end of Jeff McClain's interview there, and then I'm going to tell you about the cryptic text I sent Connor and John. But
Yeah, it
speaking
was
of,
creepy.
Speaking of text, I would like to get back to the text. I've been busy with Shefty and then headlines and then Jeff McClain. Our question today, does it feel like 2023 for you? If so, when did you start getting that feeling? What was it that made you feel that way? And if you don't, what makes you confident that this will turn? And again, other than just going go Bears,
what's changed?
What Jeff McClain just said, not as bad as it was last year at 2-2.
In his mind, it's not as bad.
So that's good. Like, that's information that I like getting. But what do we got on the text line, Connor?
So this texter's pushing back on the 2023 idea a little bit. They say, everyone, please relax. Stop comparing. If I can learn how to talk. Comparing to 2023, totally different team. They're 4-2, and they have gone through the experience of 2023 already. I imagine they've learned from it. The short week after a physical Broncos game doesn't bother me as much as some people.
They were 4-2 last year.
So I'll just say this. This was the moment where I started getting nervous. I'll be completely honest with you guys. The Buccaneers game. Now, here's the reason why. How many players after the Rams game talked about we got to got to play not to lose? AJ Brown, like a lot of players. And we celebrated. We were so happy that they won. It was a miracle win, the block kicks. but we celebrate the messages from the players, including the freaking franchise quarterback himself. We got to stop playing not to lose. And what did they do in the second half against the Bucs?
Played not to lose.
And what did they do against the Broncos?
Played not to lose and lost.
Well, and played dumb.
Yeah, but they played not to lose. They went into a shell.
Like, I thought the Rams game would have been that, all right, here's the turn.
We wake up. This is a wake-up call.
And it's gotten worse since then.
They're up 8.
Like, it has gotten worse since then.
You're up 18 points at Tampa. And
you almost lost.
And you stop running the ball.
If Mayfield doesn't get deflected and then Jahad Campbell intercept it, like, I don't know.
Incredible.
And then the Denver game and then the Giants game. So that was the moment for me. The Buccaneers game, despite it being a win, was the moment for me where I started going, uh-oh, what do we got around here? All right, McClain at the end there talks about the patience and the identity, or talking about identity. I have a question for you guys. It's one thing for us to try to be like, are you going to be patient as a fan base? Do you think some of the players are patient?
No, hell no.
No.
No,
they're not. And Lane Johnson letting it out that the subtle little
predictable.
Mailata letting it out after the Denver game, subtle little. That's them letting us know.
Like they're not patient.
They're not patient, and they're paying attention.
Like, I don't think anybody can tell, and I'm not saying Jeff McClain's preaching patience to the audience, right, or Eagles fans.
No.
But, like, when I hear, well, there's a lot of teams that don't have an identity yet. Like, I hate that.
Like, it's funny is that, like, Adam, and I called Adam on it, where he goes, well, this is sort of what happens, with these teams, like coming off the Super Bowl. They got slow starts and everything like that. Here's the slow starts the Chiefs have gotten off to. Okay? Off of Super Bowls. 2024, 9-0. 2023, 6-2.
Yeah.
2022, 9-3. Now, 2021, after losing a Super Bowl, they did start 3-4. They lost the conference title game. After winning the Super Bowl in 2020, they started 4-1. I mean,
some of it may have been how it looked,
but it's mythology that teams after the whole idea of the Super Bowl hangover. It is a myth. It's a myth.
Unless there's injuries. Like, that's a...
Yeah, but those teams...
just wear and tear stuff.
But it's a myth.
Like, Jordan Mailata straight up said to E.J. Smith, I'm not myself this year.
I'm not feeling myself.
So there is something to
but
that.
But the Super Bowl hangover thing is not real.
Now, just math real quick. Of those seasons you read out, the 9-0 is the only one that has not either already been obtained by this year's Eagles team or is unobtainable. They can hit all those other marks still, besides 9-0. They could. It's still on the table.
Yeah, they could. They could turn this thing around, and hopefully they do. But the idea that everybody should just be patient, relax, it's nothing. No, this is alarming. This is a bad start, and this is how they're playing is not good enough.
All right, the text that I sent.
Yeah, what was this about?
You guys
can't wait
yesterday.
for this one.
So first and foremost, I want to credit OJ Spivey, who I know has been on recently on the weekends with our man Shukri. He put out a tweet. I'll just read the tweet.
All right.
I think some fans are going to be disappointed with what comes out of the final cut, at least from the Birds. So the text I sent, Connor and John, was right after I saw that tweet. Remind me to put something on the show sheet for tomorrow.
Tell people what you're talking about.
I'll get there.
No, the final cut. They don't.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Something I completely forgot about. Something none of us have mentioned once. But my God, will it be potential theater or a major meltdown? Or letdown, excuse me. In-season Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely forgot.
Completely forgot about
it. I knew it.
It's an awesome year to have it.
And also they're around. They're around on game day. They're around.
So it's either going to be theater because we could get answers. Like, is there going to be behind the scenes
The Eagles
stuff?
won't let there be answers. I can assure you.
So then
right
it'll
now.
be a major letdown.
Remember, the Eagles have some level of editorial control.
Okay.
They're going to make sure that they've got some level of editorial control.
So that's what I'm guessing OJ saying, like, people might be let down.
Yeah, because it's not. I've been around teams with this that have done the Hard Knocks and watched it.
Sure.
And watched it how it works. And there's things you can't keep away. Like, I watched a Falcons coach. They had video of a Falcons coach in a players-only meeting telling his players that he was having sex at 10 and 12 years old. And the Falcons tried killing it. They tried killing it.
Right.
They couldn't kill it.
And it got out.
And that coach is out of football. Like, because he was, like, bragging about it.
Sure.
They couldn't get it out. Like they couldn't do it. There's certain things that the teams can go, they can't get out.
Yeah, there's red tape, which is not allowed to be aired.
Right. But if there's drama stuff, they're not going to be able to cut it out.
Well,
like if A.J. Brown says things and there's an open mic, it's not going to be able to. The NFL's going to run it. They'll run it, and the Eagles will have nothing to say about it.
So in 2 months, because it comes out in December.
November, I thought, isn't it?
Is it November, December?
Usually around Thanksgiving, I think. I love it. I love this.
Either way, soon. And it's either going to be like, oh, wow, this is fluff, there's nothing. Or it's going to be like, wow, just learned a lot watching this show.
Remember, strategic advantage stuff, the Eagles can call their shots. Drama, they can't.
And I just remembered it yesterday when I saw that tweet.
That's going to be bad. Good job by OJ there.
Coming up next, we hate the Boston Celtics, right? But, man, do I respect what they did yesterday. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles looking for a fix. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds are preparing for their matchup with the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday, a 1 p.m. Week 7 game in Minneapolis, and we'll get our first injury report of the week today. The Eagles had a lot of banged-up players coming out of that game against the Giants last Thursday, so it's something to watch who's on that injury report for the first time this week. They've also now lost 2 straight games and have struggled to run the ball all year, so Kevin Patullo, who met with media yesterday, was asked about adding more running into the offense.
I would like to increase it, obviously, and some of that we talked about a week ago is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
There's things to work on everywhere in every area for the Eagles. Head coach Nick Sirianni meets with media today at 12:10. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets. The Sixers will continue their preseason on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to discuss the Phillies season and off-season plans. We're going to talk to Scott Lauber of the Inquirer coming up at 9:25 for the latest on those Philadelphia Phillies. This update is brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. October is Car Care Month at your local AAA Tire and Auto Service location. Save $40 on any repair of $150 or more. Valid October 1st through October 31st. Visit AAA.com/mycar. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, I'm going to ask you is that I know the amount of people you talk to around the NFL, and I know from the conversations that have been had about this on NFL Live and others, any speculation as to who he's talking about? Not listening to him.
No, I can honestly tell I've not spoken to a single person about that. I honestly have not. We're dealing in injuries on Monday. Yesterday was a day to kind of catch my breath and try on Tyreek Hill. I know it's a big deal in Philly, but on my list of priorities, it was not very high up.
Okay. So, do you believe? I know it's not mandatory, but do you think the Eagles will maybe make it mandatory for A.J. Brown to address this? Because today's the day where midweek players can speak to the media. Do you believe it will be A.J. Brown Day, and do you believe the Eagles will make it be A.J. Brown Day?
Here's what I would say to that: A.J. Brown's a big boy. He can tweet what he wants and he can say what he wants. I don't think you make him do anything. If he wants to talk, he can talk. If he doesn't want to talk, he doesn't want to talk.
How sports continues to be the greatest reality TV show that there is because it's real life. It's actual real life. It's not scripted. And then guys go on social media after hard-fought wins. First off, what did you make of the tweet? Before we even get to your reporting, what did you make of the tweet by A.J. Brown following a hard-fought win in a place that they have struggled a lot over the years?
Well, only A.J. Brown could fully explain what he meant by that. You tweet something like that after a game and after you win and after you get a 4-0, I think you invite a lot of scrutiny and questions as to what you meant by it. It certainly seems like he's not happy with his production or role in the offense. right now. But if you look at it, you look at the tape, they targeted him 9 times. Like, it wasn't like they didn't throw him the football. They did. He's just not producing at the level to which he's accustomed. Something similar happened last year. Wasn't happy with his role, complained, and the team went on a run in the second half, and he was dynamic, and everything worked out great. So I think that it wouldn't be what I would like, but I understand why he does it, and we'll see the intended result of it this week start. I'll bet you they feed him right away this week, right away.
It's driving me nuts, though, Adam, when I hear Kevin Patullo talk about the fact that, well, we haven't figured out our identity on offense yet. They're the Super Bowl champs with arguably the best offensive toolbox that any team has in the NFL when you look at skill, talent, quarterback, offensive line. How do they not know what their identity is when they're the defending champs and almost everybody's back?
Well, they should know. I mean, we know what they are, right? I think they're a team that runs the football as well or better than anybody. I think they've got a quarterback that could beat you with his arm or his legs, and they've got the ability to beat you throwing the ball as well. Like, they're a multifaceted offense that has a lot of ways to win. It's not your typical offense. I mean, what's hard to figure out there? I don't get it.
I don't understand it either. I still can't figure it out.
Shefty, when it comes to the A.J. Brown tweet, now I want to start getting your reporting cap on. Have you heard any fallout from the tweet so far at NovaCare? And if you have not, obviously this is not the first time a wide receiver or a player on any football team had said something cryptic on social media or said something cryptic at a press conference. So what could this lead to at some point in a locker room? Because this is not the first time, as you mentioned.
I don't know that it leads to anything in a lot. I mean, everybody's got their own personalities, and people know who people. You know, by the way, A.J. Brown, honestly, is one of the most thoughtful people. One of the thoughtful players that I've encountered. Like, he's very smart and very he's the guy. Just I have found him to be highly intelligent. So there obviously is a method to his madness, and.
We hate the Boston Celtics. I know. Screw them. Blah, blah, blah.
No, we hate them.
What they did yesterday was freaking awesome. So before every season, the Boston Celtics allow members of the media to play 5-on-5 or whatever, 10-on-10, whatever they end up doing. They play basketball against one another. But this year, Joe Mazzulla, the head coach of the Boston Celtics, said plans have changed. The media members will still play, but they're going to go up against the coaching staff of the Boston Celtics.
Which is so much fun.
The Celtics coaching staff won 57-4. I don't know if they played one quarter. I don't know if they played a half. They did not play four quarters
they played
of basketball.
20 minutes.
All right, so one half. So one
I think
college
they played
half.
20 minutes, yeah.
20 minutes, and the coaches won 57-4. Now, Joe Mazzulla is a nutbag. If you ever listen to him talk, you know that was planned. That was these guys write about us all the time. We're gonna humble them a little bit. And to the credit of a lot of the Celtics media, they did tweet out that was a very humbling experience for us. Like, we write all the time about, let's face it, media is more negative than positive, right? Well, I'm not breaking any news to everybody. We react to drama more. There's more storylines to drama. And so there were a lot of the members of the media that were like, yeah, they humbled us because we have to write a lot about what the Celtics are doing wrong and not what they're doing right. And Joe Mazzulla is like, yeah, let's do a coaching staff versus media members. Does the Philadelphia media score more than 4 points?
Yes.
Well, they better not invite you and I because we're going to go get buckets. If they want to prove a point, trust me, Johnny. Salciunas and I aren't leaving that court with less than 4.
Trust you. He doesn't believe this.
I don't believe.
So you're speaking.
I don't think so,
You're writing
dude.
checks that he doesn't think he can write.
Dude, these coaches,
Connor, you're out of your mind.
All these coaches played collegiately or they played overseas or something, and they would probably cook our ass. Now,
they'd literally be swatting away your shots. First of all, you're not anything as athletic as that.
I played overseas. Pool basketball in Ibiza.
Yeah, oh yeah, sure.
That counts for something.
But like, I was trying to think like who, like our old buddy Devon.
Devon can
play, but here's the deal: you just got to get the one guy to lock down Devon, And then you
just put
it's a box in one.
Put Ricky in the post and hope he got stuck in traffic that day. He'll be throwing elbows.
Well, no. Too. It's Sixers.
Yeah,
media.
it's Sixers media.
It's not Ricky. So we're not getting
Station
Ricky
of the
in
Sixers,
it.
baby.
It's Sixers.
Yeah.
It is Sixers media, though. So.
I just think it's really cool that the Celtics did that yesterday.
I think it's a great thing because, as I told you, now the fun thing is I said Dan Reeves back in the day, when he was the coach of the Falcons, one day at training camp there would be a challenge for the media to go out and do something that football players do, to go out and see what we could do. I was shocked at the amount of my peers that wouldn't go out and try it because they were afraid to be embarrassed. And believe me, I got embarrassed sometimes, but it was fun to go out and try it. And it was like, one year was fielding a punt, which was horrifying, absolutely horrifying. And they had guys running at you, but they were not allowed to come within. They weren't even allowed to come within 5 yards of you. They had to peel off at 5 yards, and I was ready to pee my pants, because they're charging at you and trying to field a punt, trying to catch a pass with someone in coverage that was not allowed to come within 2 yards of you.
But you're still feeling the pressure.
You're feeling the pressure like you're going to get hit. It's just that they would do stuff, and it was fun. This wasn't competing against.
Yeah.
You're going to get cooked.
Yeah.
You're gonna get cooked.
By the way, everyone's already ripping you for that opinion,
I know.
Connor, on our YouTube chat. They're also questioning the facial hair.
What, they're mad at the mustache again?
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio powering.
I had one in the DMs today. I'll ask one of the people that can DM directly. Jim asked, is Connor fresh off an episode of To Catch a Predator?
No, I just have a mustache.
That was the look. That was the question. I did laugh at that one.
Powering possibility.
Time now for the Kincade Salciunas re-rack.
The fan base can no longer be patient and no longer say it's not like 2023 because it has crept into the locker room, John. It's one thing for you to say, I believe it's going to get better, and that's a totally fine opinion and feeling to have. But to ignore it and say it's not happening or to say that there aren't areas of concern to the level of 2023, I think you're being naive at this point.
Yeah, I'm tired of being lectured about it. I've come to a conclusion yesterday after watching all things, after reading, after watching more of the coverage from NFL Live and NFL Network yesterday, which, by the way, they're just obsessed with the Eagles because the Eagles are just such a lightning rod type story. I'm tired of being lectured about it, that we should just ignore it and that we should be more patient. And that we should be thinking that they just need more time. Enough. Enough of the lectures, enough of the excuse making. This is done. This is done now. Time to get after it, and time to see changes starting this week. This week. This is the time. You got Minnesota this week. I'm tired. I'm tired of it. I've been so patient. Not going to be patient anymore.
No, I mean, you can't
Not going to be patient anymore.
Because unfortunately, it has crept into the locker room. So yesterday, we have a lot to unpack from yesterday's interview with Jeremy Fowler. It's the blessing and the curse of having an interview at 9:25, right? Because we're done, and it's like, oh, damn, we only got like 15 minutes left to react to something where we got a lot of information, and it was from a national voice, and this guy is one of the best. There's a reason why he's the senior reporter for ESPN. And Jeremy Fowler yesterday, we're going to play multiple clips for you. There's a lot of stuff to react to. And so the curse of it happening at 9:25, it's damn, we only got like 15 minutes left. But the blessing is, hey, tomorrow we have a lot of stuff to discuss. So Jeremy Fowler, first and foremost, when I say it has crept into the locker room, you're probably wondering, what are you talking about? What do you mean 2023 has crept into the locker room? So the beauty of yesterday's conversation with Jeremy, there were a lot of things that he just brought up unprovoked, right? Like,
oh, no,
I think he knew where we were going to go with some of the questions, obviously, because I think everybody knows the questions about the Philadelphia Eagles right now. But it almost felt like he wanted to say things.
He knows what we're coming, right. He knows what market he's on with.
Right, absolutely.
And he knows where we're trying to ask about.
So here's Jeremy Fowler, just unprovoked, telling us about a conversation he had with a member of the Eagles after the Broncos game, which, by the way, very important detail. After the Broncos game.
No, but by the way, it's after the Giants game. It is after the Giants game because he says Thursday night. He does. I went back and listened yesterday. I meant to say, I put in the notes, he did say Thursday night.
All right, well.
He does say Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken, because I went back and listened to it, because I was confused too. And I think he says Thursday night.
All right, well, here's Jeremy Fowler.
I was in the locker room the other night. I was at the game Thursday, and I've reported this, but I did talk to a player who says it does feel like 2023 right now a little bit. The end of 23, we've got to change that. We've got to redirect this thing to avoid that. There was a pretty strong message that I was told, and so they got to sort of figure that out. And Brown is the center of.
So you're right.
No, what's
Thursday
funny is I missed it too because
he said talked about Denver.
Well, he had talked about Denver earlier in the interview, so I got confused with that too. But when I went back and listened yesterday,
so bottom line is he spoke to a player that mentioned 2023. All right, a player. So this is not a media-driven thing. This is not a speculation thing.
This is not him looking for clicks.
This is not us with a feel, even though we may feel it.
Oh, I feel it.
This is a reporter who was in the locker room after the Eagles' second straight loss, speaking to a player, and the player on his own saying it feels like 2023. We got to get past this quick. Now, look, this show is not going to just be hit you over the head with a dose of reality and potential negative vibes all day long, okay? There are perks to this happening on Thursday. They had the mini bye, 10 days rest. 10 days to maybe get their act together, 10 days to have come to Jesus moments, 10 days to try to figure out, a couple of days to allow players to leave the building and not think about football for a little bit.
You're going to feel good about this. They talked this week.
Good.
I hear a lot about that. Yeah, they talked.
And
they sat down and they talked.
They talked before the Giants game,
yeah,
and they ended up losing.
They talked before that too, yeah.
But ultimately, our question for you today at 610-632-0975, even though, again, this could swing back to the positive. They had 10 days to try to figure this out before the Vikings game. But if you believe this feels like 2023, when did you start feeling it? Right? That's question one, because there are a lot of people that have been saying it to us for weeks. And I credit you. For those of you who said it in week 2, week 3, week 4, I thought it was a little premature. But, hey, there were some people that thought it felt like 2023 early on. If you don't, if you push back, and the beauty is social media tells me a lot of people are pushing back. There was a lot of great stuff. Shout out to Dylan McKinnon, did a great job, and Sean Robin posting videos and quotes from our conversation with Jeremy Fowler yesterday. There were a lot of people that took exception to what Jeremy had to say. It was almost like the I'll talk bad about my little brother, but you can't sort of thing, right?
Yeah, you mean what I found really interesting about the commentary yesterday from people, they were mad about it. They're mad about hearing about it. A lot of people who have never set foot in the locker room, who don't know any of these players, that never have shook their hands, never have talked to them, are somehow thinking they know more than Jeremy Fowler.
I don't know if they know more. They just don't want to. They don't want to hear it.
They don't want to hear it. Jeremy Fowler is respected. I've seen Jeremy Fowler in that locker room. I've seen Jeremy Fowler on the field. Jeremy Fowler, players go up to him. They recognize him. They know him. He's respected. But somehow, Bill from the Northeast thinks he knows more about what's going on in the locker room than Jeremy Fowler. Jeremy knows more. Jeremy knows more than me. Jeremy knows what he's talking about.
That's why we have him on as a guest. So if you believe this feels like 2023, when did you start feeling it? But if not, because there is a other side of the conversation. There are people that don't believe it's 2023.
Sure.
And push back on what Jeremy Fowler was reporting yesterday. What makes you confident that this will turn? All right, again, I don't want this show to be all doom and gloom just because of things that Jeremy Fowler told us yesterday.
Yeah, but we want realism.
What makes you confident that this will turn other than just go Birds, man? Like, what will make this turn? You can text in, you can call in, 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, you'll hear more from Fowler, who, again, unprovoked, brought up things like A.J. Brown's frustration and then maybe prepared us for the offseason following this year. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic's Andrew Dichek.
So if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies, because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like, Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason. But then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that
by
question.
the way, great question. That is a
Told you it was a good one.
That's a capital
Told you it was a
G
good one.
question. Wait a minute then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for Unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah,
2
dude,
to
seriously.
6.
He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That
better
all,
not be
if
stolen.
I don't
swear
hear
to you.
dude, I'll be
swear
pissed,
to you.
Dylan.
There, seriously.
By
the way,
Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect from me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get booed
I don't know.
for?
I think we're getting crushed for
What did I
stuff.
get
But
booed
no,
for?
I would say
Probably because we talked about AJ
I would
Brown
say
for
I
too
hope
much.
I would say that I hope that Bryce Harper's going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's
Okay.
Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is
Okay. It's a great question.
Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best
Yeah.
player in the world, right? And then
Who's supposed to be your best player?
So
who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday.
Yes.
Did you see the Pharrell commercial where he's?
Oh yeah, yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the
Schwarber's
Phillies?
on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Mm-hmm.
The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's
So-
a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about
Right,
that?
That's
Unfiltered. You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
not football.
It's very because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah,
but
those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time
No, I
because
bet
it's during the summer and early
I get it.
fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude,
think
is
it's forced.
the amount of people because the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a
Like,
nice
different
activity,
thing.
though.
No,
like
I bet
it.
those people. Are
So
having a
yes,
good time.
I do.
But you do it.
I do. Yeah.
So you're at a baseball tailgate.
I'm tailgating the intra-squad game tonight.
What?
Yeah.
You're tailgating it.
I'm
You're
taking
bringing a child to
Yesterday's
the
show, who joined us around this time yesterday, 9:25 yesterday, and we've had a chance to react to it all day. The Know the Show question for the pair of tickets to the Sixers home opener Friday, October 25th against the Hornets. The first person to text this in at 610-632-0975. So you're using the text line to win these tickets. About an hour ago, our man Adam Schefter joined us and told us breaking news that he drafted 2 members of the Sixers for his fantasy basketball team. Who were those 2 members of the Sixers? The first person to get them right at 610-632-0975. Both players will win the pair of tickets for the home opener Friday, October 25th against the Hornets. Sixers are doing something really cool today around the city. It's time to spot the Sixers. Keep your eyes on the Sixers social media account at Sixers for information that will lead you straight to the 76ers surprise landmark in Philadelphia. When you find the spot, show up, rep the Sixers, and you could score big prizes ranging from classic 2001 memorabilia to an autographed hardwood classic edition jersey. Sixers single game tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com/76ers. Speaking of 2001, they announced yesterday that I think in November, they're going to have a lot of the guys from the 01 team there. So, Iverson, obviously, unfortunately, Dikembe won't be there. Rest in peace. but a lot of the members of the Sixers 2001 team will be there. Now, I learned something new yesterday. So Kyle Pagan, who does a great job, a lot of fun stuff on Crossing Broad, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tweets out, good luck getting Todd McCullough there away from his pinball machines. Do you know that Todd McCullough is a professional pinball player?
I didn't even know there was such a thing as professional pinball.
I saw something on this.
Travels overseas and he owns 60 pinball machines in his house and is a professional pinball machine player.
Okay. By the way, there's a pinball place in Malvern.
Okay.
Where you can go and play pinball.
He's probably been there.
They have like a whole place full of pinball machines, and you can go play them.
So I found on his Wikipedia page, because that's where you get all your real information, McCullough was asked about the similarities between pinball and basketball. That's a hell of a question to ask.
There's a ball.
Quote, hand-eye coordination is really important in both, and maintaining your focus is definitely important. I've been in some pressure situations in big basketball games, and nerves wouldn't affect me. But I found that in pinball tournaments, I can't seem to keep those nerves at bay. My heart beats faster. My chest gets tighter.
What?
Competition is competition, and I thought I'd respond well, but I haven't been able to rein that in yet.
Well, then are you truly a professional?
Oh, he won a tour. He won $3,000 at a pinball tournament.
Wow.
Yeah, but that pressure's why it's easier for the deaf, dumb, and blind kid. What, you guys don't like the Who?
It's very good.
Wow.
There you go.
I kind of give you credit, but your mustache takes it away.
Yeah, the mustache is
fine.
fine.
Jeremy Fowler yesterday.
And by the way, you're wearing that. You're bringing that to Minnesota this weekend.
Jeremy Fowler
Bad juju.
yesterday joined us. John asked a question about how's the league thinking about the Eagles? What do they
what's
say?
the chatter around the league about this?
Outside of Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
And he started talking about some of the issues with the offense. And here he is in the middle of an answer, just sort of bringing up A.J. Brown.
As a passer in the pocket, because if you can stop the run, you can play zone behind it, and he struggles with the zone. That's kind of the take I get from, especially from coaches that have either prepared for him or watch him. So I think that's the source of A.J. Brown's frustration. I don't think it's personal. Maybe it is, but for me, I think it's more the reality of the passing game.
And he just brought that up on his own.
Yeah, totally on his own. That was unprompted.
This is why A.J. Brown's frustrated. Now, look, it's not breaking news that A.J. Brown is frustrated. And again, to be clear, we all agree with the frustration. Everybody should. Like, I understand the way he goes about it might not be your cup of tea, but we all agree that he's frustrated and should be frustrated.
Yeah, I agree with the frustration. I just don't agree with the way he conducts himself with it.
But when he's doing that on his own, and then I asked him about the boiling point and whether or not we are reaching one or what could be the boiling point for A.J. Brown, here was Jeremy Fowler.
I mean, boy, it depends on how you define boiling point. Like, are they going to trade him? No, I don't expect that. Now, I have talked to some teams that wonder if in the offseason they would do that, just to give everybody a fresh start. I was told that leading into the Denver game Sunday and then leading into the Thursday night game that Brown and Hurts were good and that they were, and it felt like, at least in the building, they were in a good spot. So I don't sense a lot of major issues from an animosity standpoint or personality standpoint, but, you know, I'm open to being wrong on that.
Now, here's some good things. So Jeremy yesterday believes it'll turn. Jeff McClain told us less than an hour ago it was worse in-house this time last year than this year. Now, maybe winning the Super Bowl is a big part of that, right? They won the Super Bowl. They can say, look, we just got to find it. We got to find whatever it is that clicks for us. But it's good that mentality-wise, vibe, whatever you want, the term you want to use, vibes, are better at this point this year than they were last year. That's key. I just wonder if it does not go well this week after a 10-day break, whether it's McCarthy or Wentz, I don't give a damn who it is. If it looks bad offensively again, which, hey, guys, it could. Brian Flores is a really good defensive coordinator.
Which neither of those things have anything to do with Wentz or McCarthy.
Right. If it does not go well, and as Connor, to your point, you mentioned whoever that source is most likely from the offense. If it doesn't go well, like, what's the next dramatic storyline we have to talk about? Lane Johnson, Hall of Famer, potentially straight up saying it's predictable. I think that was a very strategic time for him to speak on it. But what's next? This weekend's, is this a must-win game? I'll say they got to look good. Offense better freaking look good. Look, if they lose a shootout because you're missing Quinyon Mitchell and it's Keely Ringo and Dory Jackson.
That's a little different.
You lose 33-30.
This is not a very good team to be losing to, though.
No, I know, but if the offense at least puts up points, you go, all right, good.
All right, then they're doing it.
Move to, get healthy on defense, move forward. If they don't.
If you don't go 1-1 in the next 2 weeks, sound the alarm.
Sure. All right, coming up next, Phillies are still on the table. 5 years for Kyle Schwarber. That's what Scott Lauber reported yesterday. He joins us next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles moving on to Minnesota. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles are starting to gear up for their matchup with the Vikings this Sunday, a 1 p.m. game up in Minnesota, and we'll get our first injury report of the week today. Keep your eyes out for that because the Birds had a lot of banged-up players in last week's game against the Giants. They've also lost 2 straight and have struggled to run the ball all year. Kevin Patullo met with media yesterday, and he talked about increasing the amount of running plays in the offense.
I would like to increase it, obviously. And some of that, like we talked about a week ago, is those kind of RPOs that we kind of run where sometimes the run's called and, the ball gets pulled and thrown, and they've been successful. But, yes, we need to continue to grow in that area.
It's Nick Sirianni's turn today. Head coach will meet with the media today at 12:10. The Flyers are back in action tomorrow night as they'll host the Winnipeg Jets. The Sixers, they'll continue their preseason on Friday at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the Timberwolves. And Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson will have a press conference tomorrow at 11 a.m. to talk about the Phillies season and the off-season plans. We're going to talk to Scott Lauber about just that coming up at 9:25. Does great work covering the Phillies for the Inquirer. This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. Hurry, Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale ends soon. Find your perfect bed and save big on better rest today. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday because everybody just wants to point the finger and say the offense sucks, Kevin Patullo sucks, all right? That is a very difficult place to win. The Eagles know that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the best 6 to 8 teams in the NFL, and they are a physical, and they are a good team. That is a playoff team. And that is a team that wants to go blow to blow, blow for blow with you. And they're not afraid to do that. And they very easily could have packed it in. They didn't. And they came out swinging in the second half. The Eagles' game plan and their offense in the first half yesterday, they came out, they were awesome. They had the umbrellas, the shades, or whatever they had. They were prepared because they saw what happened in previous years. And they said, we're not going to go down there. We're not going to let that happen again. Very smart by the Eagles to go down there in what they did. And you know what happened? In the second half, the Bucs made adjustments, and the Eagles, I think, were slow to adjust offensively, and it just seemed like that they were exhausted. And as the game went on, they had some injuries, they had guys that were cramping up, and give the Buccaneers credit. They made adjustments. You're playing against another team. It's not supposed to be easy for the entire game, and the Bucs made adjustments. And they came out, and they really gave it to the Eagles in the second half. A couple fluky long plays, but still. So that was a really, really good win by the Eagles yesterday.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid, so why should you have to hear outlandish takes that make you shake your head?
You shouldn't. That's why Unfiltered is the show for you. Each afternoon from 2 to 6, we only bring you honest opinions and analysis.
We may not agree all the time, but what you hear is what we genuinely believe. It's not some rage bait to try to spark conversation. So make the switch to Unfiltered with me, Bill Colarulo, my man Ricky Bo, and Silvana Keller.
her.
Every weekday at 2 p.m. right here on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yesterday against the Bucks, and this is what I think people aren't talking about enough from yesterday because everybody just wants to point the finger and say the offense sucks, Kevin Patullo sucks, all right? That is a very difficult place to win. The Eagles know that. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the best 6 to 8 teams in the NFL, and they are a physical, and they are a good team. That is a playoff team, and that is a team that wants to go blow to blow, blow for blow with you, and they're not afraid to do that.
Fanatic.
And they
5 years for Kyle Schwarber? Get in line with all the other big contracts that are going on with the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. He does such a great job covering the Phillies for the Inquirer, Inquirer.com. Experience the new look of Inquirer Sports, where fans can read, watch, and listen to their favorite reporters and columnists. Go to Inquirer.com/sports. Our man Scott Lauber joins us. Scott, good morning, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing
Good,
great.
Scott.
I read your story yesterday that talks of Schwarber could go as far as 5 years. What is the market for a DH at 33 going on 34 years old that would make a 5-year contract?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the time of year, right, where, you begin to hear, what players are looking for, and then you hear what teams are willing to pay, and they usually meet somewhere in the middle. Like Pete Alonso is looking for a 7-year contract, supposedly. I don't think he's going to get that. I don't think there's a 5-year deal out there for Kyle Schwarber, but he's more than it's certainly his right to pursue that. He's 33, so the argument for it would be, hey, look, he's going to be 33. His bat speed has not declined. Mm-hmm. He's coming off a 56 homer season. He is a better hitter now than he was 4 years ago when the Phillies signed him. He's kind of aging in reverse. He thinks that he's got some runway here to continue to produce at this level, so he's going to pursue that sort of a deal. He's a designated hitter. A 5-year deal for a DH in his 30s is pretty much unprecedented, which is why I say I don't think that there's 5 years out there for him, but maybe there's 4. The sense that you get when you talk to people around the league is that the Phillies are going to say, hey, look, go out, see what kind of offers you get, come back to us, and that John Middleton's not going to be outbid at the end for a player that he really wants back. We'll see. Again, it all kind of depends on what's out there in terms of offers. There are going to be teams that look at a DH in his 30s and just rule it out and say, like, we don't care how many home runs he hit last year. We're not going to sign this player because he's a DH in his 30s. There are other teams that look at that and say, well, look, it's not comfortable for us, but, he's a player who can help us. So we'll see what the market bears, but it's more than he's well within his rights to kind of look for as much as he can get.
I'm looking at these numbers, though, and the other numbers that I'm looking at are Trey Turner, 33 years old with 8 seasons left on a contract. Bryce Harper, 33 years old next season, 6 seasons left on a contract. Aaron Nola, 33 years old, 5 seasons left on a big money contract. You sign Schwarber at 33 next year to a big money long-term contract, and then people are clamoring for JT Realmuto to come back. He'll be 35 on a multi-year contract. This is going to be one of the oldest teams I've ever heard of, and it's as if people don't understand that the cliff comes for players.
Right.
And for this franchise, it's going to come.
Without a doubt. And look, they were already, I think that there are some, there are different ways to calculate this, but, I think Baseball Reference says that they were the second oldest position player group in the big leagues this year. They don't get any younger if they bring back Schwarber and if they bring back Realmuto. So something to think about for sure, because like you said, the core of this group, and that does not at the moment include Schwarber and Realmuto because they're going to be free agents. The core of this group, Harper, Turner, Nola, Wheeler, who is 35, they're not getting any younger. So, yeah, that's definitely something that you look at and you say, well, at some point now it's got to become, kind of like Painter's turn, Crawford's turn, Aiden Miller. You've got to get younger somehow. And they've got those 3 guys in their organization who they think are really close. I think next year is the year you've got to see at least one of them, probably 2 of them, maybe even all 3 of them make an impact at the big league level.
Scott Lauber of the Inquirer joins us to talk about the Phillies offseason, and it came way too quick, unfortunately. Scott, from most likely to least likely, players that could be moved via trade. You obviously have Nick Castellanos. You have Bryson Stott. You have Alec Boehm. You have Brandon Marsh. Most likely of those 4 to least likely, and a little explanation as to why.
So I put Nick Castellanos at most likely. I just think the time has come. Obviously he didn't see eye to eye with Rob Thompson this year on a few things. Rob Thompson's coming back. I don't think Castellanos can come back. The problem is, he's owed $20 million next year. He's not a $20 million player, not anymore, maybe never was. What are you going to get back, and how much money do you have to eat in order to move him? I do think that, entering 2026 with the possibility of a work stoppage in 2027, you might have some offense-needy teams out there who say, look, if you pay half of it, Phillies, if you pay 3/4 of it, yeah, we'll take that player. He can help our lineup. Maybe he can help our outfield. I'm looking at teams like, I'm just throwing it out there, like the Kansas City Royals, the Cincinnati Reds. There were teams that needed offense this year, and maybe they believe in him as a guy who could have a bounce-back year. So I think he's probably tops on the list. Look, Alec Boehm was a guy they tried to move last offseason. From what you hear, maybe they were looking for, maybe they valued him too much. Maybe they look to move him again this year. The problem there is he's coming off of an injury-filled year in which he was basically a league average hitter, and he's going into his walk year. So how much are you going to get in return for Alec Boehm? I think Marsh is probably 3rd on the list just because maybe the entire outfield gets a makeover. I think Bryson Stott's a guy they still like. He's a guy they still think is part of their core moving forward, and he did have a very good year. So I think he's probably 4th on that list of 4. But, I think that they'll listen on all of those guys.
Now, we're going to hear probably tomorrow, I'm figuring, that Rob Thompson's not to blame. That's why he's back. And they're going to rattle off the regular season wins, and he should be back. But do you have a feeling that there's going to be some coaches that take the hit, that there's going to be some other people that then get blamed?
Well, maybe. But I don't think that there's going to be a huge upheaval on the coaching staff. I mean, Caleb Cotham is pretty well regarded around the sport. He's done a really good job with the pitching staff. They've got their pitching department in pretty good shape. I think he's safe. Kevin Long is a guy I know gets a lot of heat, but he's, again, well regarded as a hitting coach around the league. Rob Thompson has full confidence in him. I have a hard time seeing them move on from him. Bobby Dickerson, well-regarded infield coach. The infield had a good year, So I don't know that there's going to be major changes on the coaching staff. Maybe somewhere around the edges, here or there. I mean, they do have assistant hitting coaches. They do have assistant pitching coaches. They do have support staff and things like that. So maybe little tweaks, but I don't know that I see any prominent coaches moving on unless they have opportunities elsewhere to move up, and that would be managerial openings, and things like that. We know that there are a lot of managerial openings. So I don't think that they're going to move on, though, from those coaches because they lost in the first round. I just get the sense that the majority of those guys will be back.
You mentioned the potential work stoppage. How much, in your opinion, will that impact moves across Major League Baseball? Trades, big contract free agent signings, the amount of years, if there's a chance that they lose all of or part of a season?
I'm really curious to kind of get a better feel for that as the offseason gets going. I think it'll be something that we talk about a lot come next month when the GM meetings roll around and things like that. I don't know if we're suddenly going to see like a wave of one-year deals. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. And I think the guys who were in line for big-time long-term deals like Kyle Tucker and whatnot are still going to get long deals because, if there is a stoppage, it's not like it's going to go on for years and years and years.
Right.
Ultimately, it'll get settled. But, I wonder about those guys in between, guys who might get 2-year deals. Someone like JT Realmuto, for instance, right? He's a 35-year-old catcher who's probably going to get a 2 or a 3-year deal. If he wants a 3-year deal, and if 2027 is certain, maybe there's not a 3-year deal out there for him. Maybe there's only a 2-year deal out there for him. Maybe that there are some guys who were in line for a 2-year deal who are going to have to get a 1-year deal. So we'll have to see how it plays out. I suspect different teams are going to look at it differently, but based on how they think it's going to go. And I suspect other teams will say, hey, look, we can't predict the future. We don't know if there's going to be baseball in 2027 or how much or how. So we're just going to proceed as normal, and we'll do what we have to do. Again, if guys, like it's a guy at that age bracket who, if he loses a season, do you lose value on that contract? I mean, I think that's where it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Got to tell you, it's not your job, but I don't feel any better having received your analysis. It's not your job to make me feel better, but I don't feel better, and I know you are very much in the know. We read you all the time, and I'm very, I got to tell you, I'm shaking my head. I can't wait to hear the answers tomorrow.
Well, it's tricky, right? Because what do you do? Like you're I've asked a lot of different people. Like you're looking at a team that has gotten better each year, each regular season in terms of how many games they've won, but they've backslid in the playoffs. And
that's the answer. That's the answer to me. That's the answer to me. They're not built for the postseason.
In which case you can't run it back, but you have a fairly inflexible roster.
Yep. So don't make it more. So I wouldn't make it more inflexible. That's the one thing I wouldn't do. If you've got an inflexible old roster, I'm not doing things that make it more inflexible and older. Like to me, I wouldn't do that.
That's totally fair, and I think that they're going to have to look at a lot of different things. I mean, I floated this. It's not something I've heard because I don't think they've gotten there yet. But everyone sort of assumes that Kyle Schwarber is going to go back to the Phillies because the Phillies won't be outbid, and and John Middleton wants to bring the player back. But what if for the same price, whatever that ends up being, $120 million, somewhere between $120 and $150 million? What if you could get Cody Bellinger, who's a little bit younger, who's got a bit of a different skill set, plays defense at an elite level?
You could free up DH, which then allows you to extend the lives of Harper, Realmuto. If you re-sign Realmuto, their effective lives get extended.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think these are things that are going to get discussed in their room throughout the course of the offseason. And, these things have to get discussed because you're at a point where I don't think anything should be off the table. So they're going to talk about a lot of things. It'll be interesting to see where they land and how much change this roster undergoes.
All right. Lastly, Scott, Jose Alvarado, is he back, yes or no? And when I say back, is he welcomed back?
So, I'm speculating here, but look, it's a $9 million team option. I wonder whether they decline the option and then try to sign him for less. Because, look, I think at the end of the day, they missed him in the postseason. I think that, look at a situation like Game 1, where if Jose Alvarado was there in the 7th inning, maybe David Robertson doesn't start that inning. I thought Matt Strahm should have started that inning. I thought that in the moment. But, look, it would have given Rob Thompson another option out there in the bullpen. Maybe he doesn't have to split Game 3 between Nola and Suarez because he's got a little bit more in the bullpen that he can rely on. So he was a guy ultimately they missed. But, I do wonder whether, and there were, let's not forget either that there were concerns about his health at the end of the year. He ended the season on the injured list. They will know more about the condition of his arm than anybody. So I do wonder whether there's, declining the option and then trying to bring him back for less than $9 million if you think that he's healthy.
Scott,
Thanks,
great job,
Scott.
man. We appreciate the time, and I'm sure we'll be bugging you a lot during this offseason because the Phillies will be the center of the universe, I think. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet, guys, anytime.
There is Scott Lauber on the Comcast Business Hotline. And for those reasons he just said, that's why I'm not bringing back Jose Alvarado. He pissed me off too much. I'll be spiteful. I don't give a damn.
I think Scott's answer was great that led into my last thing. They have an older and inflexible roster. So what are you going to do? Get older and get more inflexible? There's your answer.
Yeah, but the guy that you're bringing back is the only guy that was performing for you.
I got you, but you got to find other things.
I can't let him walk. All right,
my
coming
God.
up next. I lost a bet because I didn't think the Brewers are real. Where are we with teams at or above 500 in the NFL? We'll do a little real or not next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Eagle.
So if I say that, I think we would all have a same opinion of pitching had the advantage in the early parts of the playoffs, which means advantage Phillies because the Phillies still have the best rotation despite not having Zach Wheeler. The Phillies have the best rotation, right? Like Tarek Skubal is obviously the best pitcher, I think, going into the postseason. But then who else follows him?
Will Bryce Harper remind the world who he is? And I asked that question.
By the way, great question. That is a
told you it was a good one.
That's a capital
Told you it was a
G
good one.
question. Wait a minute then. Dylan McKinnon is here. That better not be stolen for unfiltered, which you hear every afternoon.
Yeah,
2
dude,
to
seriously.
6.
He's wearing the shirt and everything.
He is.
That's if
That
that's
better
all,
not be
if
stolen.
I
I
don't
swear
hear
to you.
it, dude, I'll
I
be
swear to
pissed,
you.
Dylan.
There, seriously.
By
the way,
Bill watches post.
By the way, and then Ricky was saying they wanted the boo sound effect from me yesterday. He wanted a boo sound effect for you and a louder boo sound effect for me.
What did I get?
I don't know.
for?
I think we're getting crushed for
What did
stuff.
I
But
get
no,
booed for?
I would say.
Probably because we talked about AJ.
I would
Brown
say
for
I
too
hope.
much.
I would say that I hope. I hope that Bryce Harper's going to remind us. But after this regular season, I'm not confident that he will.
I think he snaps into it. I think he's
Okay.
Bryce Harper. And the reason why I asked the question is
Okay. It's a great question.
Thank you. They're most likely playing the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're most likely.
So what's going to be the spotlight? Ohtani.
Yes.
And deservedly so. He's the best
Yeah.
player in the world, right? And then
Who's supposed to be your best player?
So
who's on the graphic?
So here's what's funny. So you watched baseball yesterday. Did you see the Pharrell commercial where he's?
Oh yeah, yes.
Did you see that they highlighted one player of the Phillies? Schwarber. And then and you know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Schwarber's on the graphic too, by the way.
Yeah. You know what else they highlighted for the Phillies?
Mm-hmm.
The fans. So it was Schwarber and Phillies fans. Every other team had like 2, 3, 4 guys being highlighted. It was Schwarber and the fans. It was not Harper.
Honestly, Harper hasn't played like Harper this year.
No, he has not.
And he isn't among the top stars of the game this year.
But I think he snaps into it.
Okay.
That's my answer.
How about I'm hopeful, but wow, I'm not confident. That's
So-
a great question. Let's talk about that.
How about that?
That's
Unfiltered. You better freaking wait till tomorrow.
Swear to you.
October 2nd better be that topic for you.
Tailgating for baseball.
Mhm.
It seems very forced to me. First of all, do you do it?
Yeah.
Because it seems it's a very segmented, small size of people that actually do.
Yeah,
do
it's not football.
It's very segmented because it seems very forced to me. You laugh at me. It's very forced because it's a very small portion of the fan base that goes to a game.
Yeah,
but
those who do it, it's a freaking damn good time
No,
because
I bet
it's during the summer and early
I get it.
fall.
I bet they have a good time doing it. But what I'm saying, dude,
think
is
it's forced.
the amount of people because the amount of people that do it for baseball is a minuscule, simple portion compared to what do it for football. So it seems like a forced activity to me.
It's a nice
different
activity,
thing.
though.
No, I bet
yes.
those people.
So yes, I
Four here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Jason Martinez in today with the Property Brothers.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
John
it's
Marks
a
and
flannel.
Ray
It's
Dunn.
a flannel Tuesday or Wednesday. Flannel Wednesday on Middays with Marks.
Seriously.
Ray and Johnny Marks both with the flannel.
They're going to today. They're going to redo a kitchen.
Today's flannel. It's a flannel season.
Is it really today though?
I'm going with the.
You're not going with
crew
flannel
neck
today.
sweater. No,
I
but
think
the
it's very
weather.
flannel.
The crew neck is the cousin of the flannel.
Yeah, it's that time of the year. It's when
Like maybe second cousin, but
everything's.
Connor, you could have been a character on Seinfeld with just stuff you say. It's the cousin of the flannel. It's just
or with your mustache, because they could do a whole show.
Oh, they would do a whole show on that
on your
mustache.
mustache.
This is
leave the mustache alone. All right.
It's really.
I don't know if I want to do that.
It is tough.
All right, let's play a little game, a real or not.
I like
Yes.
this.
We'll go NFC, and if we have time, we'll go to the AFC as well. But if you guys remember, I wore the stupid rainbow propeller hat the other day.
Which now we're keeping.
Yes, because I did not believe that the Brewers were real. Now, look, they're facing a real baseball team, and they're down 2-0, so maybe I was right all along. There are a lot of teams, as you have mentioned. Who's the 10th seed right now?
Right now, the 10 seed in the NFC. Let me just give it to you here. The 10 seed has a winning record.
Like that's
crazy. By the way, I'm stealing from ESPN stats and information. That has not happened in the current iteration of the NFC under the new things. That has not happened through 6 weeks. So right now, 10 seed is the Bears.
There are 16 teams
By the
in
way-
the NFC, and there are just 4 that are under 500.
Yeah, the 12. You have to get to the 13 seed Cowboys to get to a losing record,
and they're 2,
that
3,
is
and
also,
1.
and that is also a record through 6 weeks. So the NFC is off to an amazing start.
All
Like
right.
it's really tough.
Philadelphia Eagles, real or not?
Real.
Yes, real.
Real.
Commanders, 3-3, real or not?
Well, okay? Real when you're saying real are you saying at the end of the year they'll have a winning record?
So all these teams,
Who is going to have a winning record at the end?
yeah,
Oh, real.
real. I go Commanders, still real.
Real.
And I still think they make the playoffs, but like back in.
I had them at 10-7 before the year is what I called them for, and right now, I think it may be a struggle bus to get to 10-7 for them.
All right, we'll go to the NFC South. Bucks, we all agree, real.
Real.
Falcons is an interesting one to me.
They're real.
Not real.
They're real. For a winning record, they're real.
Not real.
Winning record, you don't think they're real?
Quarterback makes them not real.
Yeah, but Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, they're real.
What did the Eagles do last year?
Yeah, they're real.
Are the Falcons the Eagles?
Their defense is very good.
Yeah, their defense
and they
is
invested this offseason. I saw a great tweet. I read it to Johnny off the air yesterday. What's his name? Ulbrich? Is he the defensive coordinator?
Jeff Ulbrich.
Somebody put out a tweet after their win over the Bills. Man, Jeff Ulbrich's doing such a good job. I almost forgot that his son was prank phone calling people on draft day.
Oh, right.
By the
Yeah,
way,
right? You forgot all about it.
By the way, you do like the fact that they cut the kid off, by the way.
Good.
They
Kid's
cut,
an ass.
They cut the kid off financially. I love it. I think that's good
I'm
parenting.
sure if dire straits, they'd help him out. They're still his son. But I wouldn't mind making his life, all right, figure this out on your own for a little bit.
Yeah.
That kid's an ass, and he
Yeah,
deserves
he's
everything that comes his
an
way.
ass. Entitled the last.
So, yeah, I
Okay,
lean,
good.
I
No,
lean
I'd
real
go real.
Falcons because of
No,
that
you're saying
defense.
9 all they got to do is go 9-8. Falcons are real.
Panthers, not real.
Not
Not
real.
real. Not real.
Not real.
There's
Saints are absolutely not real.
3-0. Well, they're not even at 500. 3-0 at home, 0-3 at home, or on the road, or
Sure.
the Panthers. No, not real. Now, this is where it gets interesting because
Okay.
the NFC West has 3 4-2 teams.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco 49ers.
Real. Winning season? Real.
I may lean not because I don't know how they overcome these injuries.
You think they're going 8-9? They're 4-2.
Dude, Fred Warner's a major loss.
I'll go real because of the coach.
So you think they're going...
I agree, but are they going to keep on winning?
You think they're going 4-7 the rest of the way with Kyle Shanahan?
They lost both Bosa and Fred Warner on that defense.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I don't know who's left.
Winning season, if that's the barometer, real.
And look, they were my pick to win the division, but when they're dropping like flies.
They are.
Seahawks.
Real.
You say without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
Adam
Absolutely.
Schefter seemed to believe that too when we talked to him.
See, he liked him in the preseason too.
My gut feeling's not real because I think Sam Darnold is still Sam Darnold, but
well, we saw him Sam Darnold last year, and we see Sam Darnold this year, looking damn good.
Where do I go with the Seahawks?
You don't think they're going to go 9-8? They're 4-2 again.
I go not real.
Wow.
Rams, I go.
Wait a minute. So you question whether the 49ers or Seahawks are going to have a winning record.
Yeah,
so
and I go not real for both.
Okay. So then you're talking about one winning record in the NFC West at the end of the year?
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
I mean, seriously.
Screw it. Stick to your guns. Rams real, everybody else fake.
Yeah, probably. All right. NFC North. Now this is where it gets because they're all above 500.
Mm-hmm.
Packers real.
Yes.
Real. Lions real.
Real.
Yes.
Vikings
not real.
Now you're doubling down on last year almost.
Not real.
Their defense is good, man.
It is, but they're not real. They will be in last place.
Oh, you're going last place?
Yeah, Bears will beat them out. Bears will be the third place team.
So Bears real or not real?
Not real.
All right, I go not real for the Bears.
Bears will not have a winning record, but the Bears will be ahead of the Vikings.
Bears not real. Vikings, I will say real out of respect for the fact that we play them, and I got to fix the universe.
All right, I'm going to say not real, and here's why. Because if McCarthy comes back and looks the way that he did before he got hurt.
He was terrible.
When do the Vikings do the whole, well, should we go back to Wentz? Because that's never good.
No. Once you make that waiver, you're in trouble.
I mean, look at what the Colts dealt with Anthony Richardson, right? Like, once you start going.
Once you waiver, you're done.
So
like you can't.
I'll go not real because I think McCarthy comes back and struggles, and then they have to make the decision to go back to Wentz at some point. Look, the NFC's nuts, man.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts. It's wild. I mean it's going to be amazing. But the problem is you can't you're the 4 seed today. Eagles are the 4 seed. You can't putz around here.
No.
Like you need to get on your horse.
Thank God they went 4-0 to start because they've dropped 2 games they're supposed to win.
But here's where the Commodes are in trouble. Like, I think the Cowboys are going to beat the Commanders this weekend. The Cowboys have a home game against the Commanders.
That'd be nice.
And that'd be nice because then the Commanders would have a 4th loss in the conference. 4th. No matter what happens to the Eagles, they'd have a 4th loss in the conference. And that's staggering.
Almost like picking the Commanders to lose against the Packers was the right decision.
Before they go to the Chiefs.
All right, tell us about life-saving cancer research there, John.
Yeah, I would tell you, Window Nation made a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research, and you can too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR because I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives. And by the way, Jason Martinez, who's in today, he's also living proof that cancer research saves lives.
Hell yeah, man.
His life was saved by it.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations to Eric Mull, M-U-L-L, so I hope I'm saying it correctly.
Martin Mull's cousin?
Eric Mull was the winner of our Sixers tickets for today for the home opener against the Hornets. I'm checking the Sixers Twitter handle now. Have they posted anything for their day around the city of Philadelphia where we try to find?
Oh,
no,
yes. Be watching.
Not.
Be watching.
They've not. So get the Sixers Twitter account or Instagram account because they're going to have little hints dropped throughout the day for you to try to find them in the city somewhere.
The responses have been funny from some of the stuff with the stuff that when we announced where to look for the Sixers and everything have been funny.
Oh, that's good.
They've been funny. People are out there. People are into this.
Well, follow their
little
accounts.
Scavenger hunt.
Follow their accounts.
The ones to not look in Chinatown were the funniest.
Those, yeah.
They were the funny. They were the funniest. I asked you yesterday. Connor, I asked real quick. Did the Sixers and the Flyers really need a new stadium?
I said no.
No.
Okay. 'cause
It'd be
that's
cool
sort
if they got one.
No. I agree with you.
It means nothing. An arena does nothing for me.
But like
It's a bowl.
they don't need one. No. It'd be nice to have one though. Cool.
Yeah.
But they don't need one.
I wanted it in a different location, but we didn't
There you
get
go.
that. All right, everybody have a great rest of the day. Middays with Marks comes your way next. Jason Martinez in house. That starts next year on 97.5.